Uh, Checking real quick to make sure we're all set up. And
Ugh.
there we go. Yeah, we're good. Hello, everybody, and welcome to session 23 of 5th edition Papihos. My name is Jacob, or JC, and I am your dungeon master. And today we do have some people coming in a little bit late. We have Gilgamesh, played by Alpha, is coming in a bit late, and Zex, played by James, is coming in late as well. As I said before, April is still absent, but we do still have Rem, played by Helminia, and Flora, played by Jazz, and the other two will be joining us shortly. But I still want to welcome everybody to session 23. And I'm trying to think if there's any other quick and dirty announcements that I wanted to give off, but I don't think so. Thank you so much for the subscription, Helminia, with the monies. Thank you for 8 months, and thank you everybody for coming in and watching and supporting and just having a good time with me. Now, let's specifically go back to the map and do a little bit of a recap. So, last we left off, where your group was, within the snowy, mountainous, cold, unforgiving regions of Foremenos, you all banded together to foil an assassin's plot that was discovered in Greywall and deciphered while chasing a demon to Vikram. Upon arriving here, you discovered that April's sister, May, was residing here after leaving their family, and the two of them made up. In everyone's decision to protect the captain and do your best to keep the guard of Foremenos safe, you interviewed the majority of the Foremenos guard, missing a few people, but doing a very thorough job overall. However, with no assassin to be found, and reinforcements from a town named Gondolin coming in, you were forced to watch the new troops come in without knowing who is actually the danger. Once the announcement speech and the welcoming for Goran, the captain of the guard that you were protecting, happened, the stage and the wall of Foremenos was immediately ambushed by bug-like creatures, and the captain assaulted by their assassin. You all fended that off and managed to capture the assassin, as you all saw the approaching invading force coming in as well. Banding together and throwing the assassin to the side for the moment, you all fended off with the help of the cannons, the captain of the guard, and the reinforcements as well. Fended off the entire attack, where Gilgamesh and Zex actually moved forward and found out that there was a chain-clad tiefling that was apparently in charge of the attacks. Gilgamesh almost losing his life to this chain-bound tiefling. Zex actually managed to convince it to move away and cease its attack on the two for the time being. And with this, the rest of you came back to the wall, Gilgamesh and Flora currently looking throughout the tangles and putting and stacking bodies among each other, as April, Rem, and Zex discover that the assassin is in fact Finthelm, a changeling that they previously had an encounter with before and seemed to cross paths with again. Zoning of truth, Finthelm, Rem finally discovered that he was on the run from the Goth that they had an encounter with beforehand as well. And where we ended last, Zex was dragging him out of the tent and planning on keeping a watch over him overnight until you all decide what you're doing. So, Rem, Flora, as the night goes by and the sun begins to fall down, and it does start to become night as it's getting into the evening, is there anything the two of you would like to do before bed?
Nothing.
Nothing from Flora.
All right. So the two of you, tired, worn out, and just basically dead on your feet at this point, especially Rem. You two move and head into the tent that was set aside and cots were put in there for you. As the rest of you move in, you can see Gilgamesh is actually just very tiredly, as he kind of drags his great axe along the ground and places himself not in the tent, but actually up upon the wall as he's seemingly looking out above something. You're not entirely sure where Zex went with Finthelm, but you do see April having a few words with May before you guys actually bed down in the tent itself. With this, you two find yourselves a uneasy sleep as you two begin to take a rest, slightly stirred by the sounds of jangling armor and shields and weapons, as there's still a lot of people working and moving around the actual site. But all in all, there's a kind of after-battle peace that has enveloped the place of Foremenos, which was not there before. And with that, you guys eventually do find rest. As you two are finding rest, Zex, you were you took Finthelm out of the tent, and with quickly asking around, you were actually able to find a slight a guard to actually like watch over Finthelm himself, as the general consensus of the group was to wait until tomorrow to figure out what to do with him. Is there anything else you'd like to do before going to bed?
No. I don't believe so. Oh, yes, actually.
All right.
Do I have? Maybe. I'm going to set up my own little tent right outside our tent.
All right.
And I also want to... I have to look over my stuff real quick and make sure I know what spell slots I have. Sorry.
You're fine. You're just getting in. Is doing that. Thank you, Cradley, for the subscription.
I'm gonna put a level 1 cure wounds in my ring, and then I'll go to bed.
All right. So, and you also you're casting the hut, is it? Or are you putting up your own
the hut.
The hut, as you kind of
The hut.
work your way around slowly but surely. The bubble just kind of moves its way up and then becomes opaque as you find a somewhat more comfortable sleep. As you yourself are working, you can see the other three have turned and retired into the tent, as Gilgamesh is simply standing upon the wall. Sleepy, but still watchful. And with that, rest finds you all. As you are all sleeping, you do get everyone is leveling up. So now the cards are correct for this episode. You are all one level more. Congratulations. And as the sun rises and warms the actual canvas of the tent and peeks through the translucent side of your tiny hut, you're all slowly stirred awake. Zex, you find yourself stirred awake, and Rem, you're feeling the kind of heat as you slept in your armor from before, as the sun, which it's been normally cold, but you're slowly starting to acclimate towards the weather, as you see that the sun is now out and slightly warming the tent that you're in. And it is morning. You guys get a long rest, your spell slots are restored, and what would you like to do?
So where is Fenthelm being held at?
He's being held, there is the elven woman in full plate armor, which agreed to watch over Fenthelm with shifts, and it is by Goran's tent.
Alright, I'm gonna go grab Findhelm, and then I want to head down to the tent that he was residing in before so I can search around it.
Okay.
Is Zex relaying this to us before he leaves?
Nope.
All right, then.
Okay.
I'm heading... I want to check on the cart and the horses and stop in the med bay if I can.
Okay. We're gonna, just for the sake of it, we're gonna start with Rem. You checking on the cart first or the med tent? You can head to either.
I'm checking the cart first because they're right next to each other. It's here and here, right?
Yep.
I want to check the cart first and make sure all of my things are still in there.
All right. As you're walking to the cart, there's a like a young elven man watching over the cart, and he's just kind of nods to you. He knows they know who you are at this point. And
I hope so.
And he just kind of nods to you as you approach the cart, and you can see the horses. There's a small, like, portable trough that has been moved there for them to eat and drink out of, and they seem to have been kept and cared after.
All right. Are all the things I have in the cart still in the cart? We haven't been ganked in the middle of the night?
Upon a glance, it looks like everything's still in the cart.
All right. Next is the med bay then.
All right. As you head into the med bay, there are a few more people filling beds. You can see the actual form. There's the familiar human individual who's still working, and it seems like he's taken like a mortar and pestle and is mashing up something. You can see the older form of Dream Whisper, who you kind of met and briefly talked to beforehand. And then you can also see the heavily worked on, heavily bandaged forms of a half-orc, which you can tell was one of the reinforcements from Gondolin, a dwarven man with a crossbow that seems large for him set aside, and then a young man with just kind of like light brownish hair, freckles on his face, looks very young, just lying back in his bed, and you can see the bluish armor that has been stripped off of him, and the blue has been slightly tainted by red of his own blood. But the man who you know as the medic at this point, or the best that Foremenos has for a medic right now, doesn't seem rushing around tending to people. It seems like these people are stable.
I'm somewhat ashamed that I'm saying this out loud. I'm somewhat ashamed that this was the best that I could save. I'm not really adept with war and all.
And see the man just kind of turns to you. I mean, it's better than what I could have done, and even if you think it's little, I still appreciate what you could do. Because your little meant the world to these men.
I just came to check in to see if anyone needed any extra care, but it seems like you have this covered.
They're stabilized. It'll be a while before they're on their feet again. Dream Whisper is the worst of them. You're the one who stabilized him. I'm sure you saw. He's broken bones from falling off the wall, laceration in his neck. He'll be out for a while, but he'll be all right.
All right, then. I mean, if you got it all covered, I'm gonna get out of your way.
I'm doing the best I can, but thank you.
Let me know if you need anything.
Of course.
And I guess with that, I'm just gonna head towards the dead, I guess. And start burying.
All right.
Put myself there, and I'm gonna switch over probably.
Yeah, as you move towards the dead, Zex, as the morning comes and you actually find the bubble, you let it disappear as you emerge from it. You begin making your way down with Findhelm. As you begin to move, the elven woman just, excuse me, would you appreciate someone being there for extra protection?
Yes, you can come with if you'd like.
Of course. And you see, she actually, Findhelm, with the shackles that you've put on him, there's been an additional rope added to the center for grabbing. And you see she actually takes that center rope from you, and she herself moves Findhelm. Still walking with you and walking in pace, but she seems to want to watch over him, it seems. As you all make your way down to the tent which you were introduced to as Slange's tent. You all make your way there, and as you go, you approach the beginning of Slange's tent. The flaps closed, no light coming from the tent. And what would you like to be doing?
I would like to go in there.
All right. As you push open the flap, the familiar smell, heavy smell of lavender, is there as well. And you can still see the desk that is there, as well as the bed, the large trunk, and then the hanging bag of lavender from above.
Alright, so I assume Findhelm is awake and conscious.
Mm-hmm.
He's not gagged or anything, right?
He's not gagged.
Alright. So I want to ask him if there's anything he wants to give up before I start looking. Is there anything that you'd like to give up before I start looking?
I don't have anything on me, but you see him kind of wince a little bit. Slange isn't here.
Alright.
So,
I
prepared to see that?
Alright, well, I guess I will start investigating everything. I want to do a thorough search of the tent.
All right, make an investigation check.
That'll be 16.
16. As you go through, the desk has several daggers on it. Some tampered with paper, quill, ink. Nothing actually written on. The chest is locked, but it doesn't have any seemingly pockets or anything on the outside. It's just a large chest. The bed itself, as you kind of feel through the mattress for anything, you find nothing very suspicious. There is like a small like water skin hung on the side of the bed, but nothing besides that. And the actual bag, as you kind of just feel it, it's like it's light. It feels like nothing. If you want to like cut it down or pull it down, you can open it if you want.
I would like to do that, yes.
Okay. As you pull it down, and you can see it's full of lavender, just kind of crushed and smushed together, and it makes the tent's pungency 10 times more so.
I'm just going to put that back up where it was then.
All right, as you fold it, wrap it back, and set it back up.
Right. So the last thing is just the lockbox that isn't open then, correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Bentel, do you have the key for this box anywhere?
I did it's where Slange is, but I threw away the key. I thought it was safer to have him here than to try and just let the body lie and let something eat it.
All right, we're just going to leave that be for the time being, then we can come back to that later.
There's nothing else in there. There wasn't room
Okay.
for anything else. Disgusting as it is to say it like that, I'm sorry.
All right, well, that's all I wanted to do here, so I guess we can just bring Vindhelm back up to where you were guarding him before.
And the elven woman kind of nods, and you see her just pull Findhelm back from the actual tent, and the two of them make their way back up where Findhelm is put back and tied and still there being guarded.
All right. So I assume as we're going back up there, I can see Rem burying bodies.
It's actually not there unless if actually it's more of a, you're not seeing Rem there. Rem's kind of walking back and forth from where the bodies are sent to be buried. It's just kind of in the process of transporting bodies at the moment. But you do catch Rem. You can see just kind of the old thing of Rem as you're kind of moving the gauntlets of your armor and just the kind of stuff along your wrists. The blood on them is dried, but as you pull, it opens and stagnant and coagulated, but still able to flow blood gets and stains the kind of on your gauntlets and arms as you're pulling and dragging bodies away. And as you're moving, you can actually see Zex beginning to approach.
A little bit of gore never bothered me. You need anything, Zach?
Not currently. I can come and help you bury bodies, though, if you like.
You got a shovel?
I do have a shovel.
All right. The ground is hard and cold, but we do our best. All right, then. Let's get to work.
All right. So, throughout all this, you begin moving the bodies, and slowly but surely, it's hard and exhausting work, and it does take time. But
Anyone attempting to help us?
you actually are moving through, and as you see, there seems to be people devoted on. There's a team of men fixing cannons. There's the elven woman who looks very upset as she's right next to where all the bodies are, and it looks like she'd want to help, but it seems like she is unable to. Since the attempt on Goran, there seems to be men standing outside of his tent. There seems to be just general more patrols going around the actual camp, and throughout it all, it seems like people aren't moving to help you or seeming like they move to help you. You can still hear there's a lot of activity, but it seems that people are used to prioritizing other things before the dead.
Oh well. Guess I'll start digging until I'm approached. What is Finhelm doing? Because this is him, right? Is he like trying to get my attention at all, or is he just here? You
can see he is being guarded by that elven woman with her upset expression. You can watch as she kind of glances down, and you can tell with kind of your passive insight of people the disgust she's feeling at having to guard him. Fintown himself is spending the entire time with his head drooped downwards, just seemingly completely pushed into his own either guilt or remorse or regret.
The three that he killed, I want them set aside from the others.
Okay.
And I'm gonna look up to Finhelm and tell him, you're gonna bury these ones. Consider it atonement.
And you see as his form is the exceptionally pale form of him just kind of looks up and meets eyes, and they hold yours for a couple seconds, and then
Can I insight check this longing gaze?
Sure.
Oh baby, I bet it's gonna be a nat 1. It's a nat 20.
All right.
Gives me a total of 29, I think.
Damn. As you're looking, the eyes, you're able to pierce within and kind of pull back from it a form of a deep sort of sadness in those eyes. And as his gaze meets yours and holds it for that second, as you move and keep it, you see his eyes actually flit away, droop down, and he nods slowly but surely.
All right. We're going to get to digging, and then when we're done, we're going to have him dig his holes.
All right. As you two move on, the burying of the dead is a long process, as you know. And with this ground, it took you and Gilgamesh hours to bury the 5 or 6 that you had buried beforehand.
It's 2 hours.
And so it is more time. And Zex, as willing as you are, you do not match the strength of Gilgamesh, so you two do have trouble breaking through the actual soil as you guys begin. As you guys feel like you have no other alternative, you keep at it, moving through and breaking through, and as you begin the graves, as barren and as unceremonial begin to be completed. This will take the probably better part of the day if you're going to be doing this.
I'm gonna do it unless I'm interrupted. So unless someone says something to me or I'm approached, I can do this for a bit. Have I seen the captain at all today? He's in his quarters, isn't he?
You yourself, you could assume he's in his quarters, as that's where there's a station of guards, just kind of keeping watch and moving around, but you have not seen him today.
I'm going to do as much of this as I can in about, let's say, 4 hours.
Okay.
Let the day wane out a little bit. And then I'm going to try to talk to the captain, and then I'll finish the rest of this later.
All right.
It's cold, so these guys aren't decomposing at all at this point.
No, not really. All right, so you guys head through, just kind of moving it along and keeping things as quick yet respectful as possible. Meanwhile, Flora, as you stir awake to the sounds of people moving around outside in the day seemingly have begun, is there anything you'd like to do?
I would like to join Rem and Zex
All right.
wherever they are at the moment, taking a peek at the map.
All right. Well, it takes you a little bit as you kind of move around outside, but eventually you do find them, and they are digging. As you see the laid out pile of fallen soldiers next to them, and it seems that they are not doing a mass grave, but a quick and dirty style funeral to get as many of them respectfully put into the ground as fast as possible.
Okay. So Flora is going to walk over as fast as possible and would you guys need some help?
You ever dug a grave before?
Personally, no. But
You
it
got a
could
shovel?
be. Do I have a shovel? I don't think I have a shovel. Let me check here. I do not have a shovel.
I think Gil has a spare. You should go see if he'll let you borrow it.
Okay. And in that case, Flora will turn around and go find Gilgamesh and ask him for a shovel.
All right. It's a very quick conversation as you just approach the Dragonborn. As you see him, he has a slight bag around his eyes, and you see him looking outwards from the wall. And as you approach him, you ask him for a shovel, and very quickly you see he moves and retrieves his shovel, I believe from the cart, hands it to you, and not really even asking what you're using it for, only with the words, "Bring it back," to put you on your way. And with that, Flora and your Gilgamesh acquired shovel, you head back to assist Rem and Zex with the burial.
Then that is all I would like to do as of right now. Do I need to roll for anything to
It's
a strength check?
It's a pretty no, you're just adding basically your strength to getting through the actual grounds. And Flora does seem to be the best at actually breaking up the ground, and her being here helps move it forward. And with this, you're actually able, as you're moving through, there are, once you reach the mark that you wanted, Rem, of I believe 4 hours it was, if I remember correctly, you've buried all but 7 of the men you'd brought over.
Are Zex and Flora gonna? I don't know. I don't want them to finish the last of it. I just gotta check with the captain really quick, and then I'll come back to this as we kind of plan what we're gonna do. I just want to check on him, so I'm gonna go check on the captain. If you guys want to keep digging, I'll be back. I shouldn't be too long.
All right, sounds good. Be sure you relay whatever you guys decide on doing for us though when you get back.
All right. So, as Zex and Flora continue working on breaking and churning the ground up, Rem, you head over to the captain's tent. Upon getting there, you can see the men, although very tense and alert, let you walk right up to the captain's tent, with you there at the flap. And as you kind of listen, you can hear the sounds of muted discussion happening through the tent.
Can I try to make out anything before I enter?
Sure, make a perception check.
17? Or
Seven-
wait, no. Wait, perception. Yeah, 17.
17. As you're hearing this, you do recognize the voices of it being May and Goran, and as it kind of moves through, you can pick up certain words of, you hear the name, Tiberius mentioned,
Okay.
and
One moment.
okay. You good?
Yep, I heard the name Tiberius being mentioned.
As well as the city of Gondolin mentioned,
Okay.
and you pick up the kind of last bit of I just find it concerning is all. It's troubling. And as that comes through, you can hear, as you're just kind of leaning into the tent, you can hear one of the men to your left just kind of shift and and the pause come from in the tent. And then Goran's voice kind of come through. What is it?
I'm gonna enter and yell, I couldn't help but overhear.
As you
I'm not gonna yell, I'm gonna say I couldn't help but overhear.
As you enter, you do you can see Goran's just he's sitting in his chair, he's leaning up against his desk. His arms are crossed and his face is kind of set in a frown. With May standing across from him, her crossbow over her shoulder. Herself just, it seems like she was mid-pacing as they both kind of turn to you. You can see Goran's expression soften a little and just, is there anything I can help you with?
I'm here to check on your condition. A house call, if you will.
There's no need to worry about me. I'm as well as I can be. I'm doing what I can.
I couldn't help but overhear from outside. My apologies for my intrusion. And you seem to be worried about something. I can't promise I'm of any use, but I'm willing to hear you out if you think I can be.
Everything's can be worrying to me. It's just the It's my natural intention to worry. Gondolin itself has been the only place to respond, and I recognize you've said that Greywall is sending forces, and if that's true, I will be forever grateful.
They're sending them somewhere.
However, we have not received any notice of them coming. And we've still not heard anything from Foremount either. And with Foremount being the closest to us by far, it's concerning that we've heard nothing.
Do you think it's possible the forces attacking here have gone to Foremount as well? And it's a two-pronged attack, maybe?
It's possible, but unlikely. Foremount has natural protections. The northern side of Foremount is home to sheer cliff face, and it would take skilled men to scale it, and no men could scale it undetected. There's a reason I've been stationed here, and it's because this is the most vulnerable spot in Papihos to invasion. However, it is my job to worry, and so that is what I'm doing.
I won't overly interrupt your job then.
It's fine. What do you need?
I really just came to check in and speak with you a bit about what's going to happen if another attack like the last one comes.
Well,
It's my fear that the wall isn't going to hold up, and you've been here for so long, I'm afraid that I say this with the utmost respect, you won't know when to quit.
well, we all have our jobs to do, and mine is to keep Papihos safe. I don't know how they could possibly muster the manpower to do it, but it's always a numbers game, and I'm not willing to risk the limited amount of men I have on an offensive. As frustrating as it is to them, we don't know how many of them are left, even though they are quite close to us. So the best we can do is be reactionary.
My companions say that they met a tiefling farther north with a body wrapped in chains, and with the bottom part of his face almost missing. He apparently says that he was the leader of this attack. It makes me believe that their encampment is somewhere near here. If that knowledge is worth anything to you, does that description ring any bells to you?
The description means nothing, no, but we do have reason to believe that they're camped out in a type of cave along the way. I've had reports of some men on watch during night saying that they can see light. But not light of a camp, more of light shining out from the caverns. And the northern part of Foremenos is known for tombs and caverns and things. It's not odd, and it's not unlikely that they've holed up in one.
Do you have any maps of that you can share?
It's
Mostly uncharted.
It's a little uncharted. I can tell you I know for a fact there was back probably 300 years ago. It was almost when I began. There was a type of of a demon-esque devil, what have you. I'm not too familiar with how it is, but there was a devil or a demon that lived there, up to the north, but he gone largely dormant, it seems, once others began to use Foremenos as a stepping stone to try and get into Papihos. I know his tomb, if it may be that, now probably lies directly north of where we are. However, that's one cave out of hundreds. And honestly, if they had found the home of an all-powerful devil or demon, and it was still alive, I fear that the raiders and the invaders would have been the least of our problems. And the fact that I have not seen it leads me to believe he is not there anymore.
Meanwhile, when I'm writing note.
Mm-hmm. He immediately, you see him kind of just begin to, like, back up a little bit. He's just like, but I can assure you, I'm not the most studied person. There's no shame in admitting that. I do not know the full history of the north of Foremenos. And I apologize for that, but all I can do is tell you what I know.
Okay. I just realized I did have another thing to bring up. The fate of Finhelm, as his name is. Did you have any word on that?
It was not hard to see. You all have more knowledge, more history of this individual. Your judgment has been correct so far, and I've agreed. You see him kind of like look over at May, and she kind of nods. I've agreed to trust all of your judgment on his fate as well.
All right, then. I will let you know that the 3 men that he killed during his attack on you, I'm having him bury them with his own hands. As a form of atonement, but I'm not quite done yet. We have most of the men buried as well. A few more. I just came to check in. I can do at least that much.
I appreciate it.
For future reference, if you have the resources, if you light a little bit of fire on the ground, it might soften it up.
Of course.
But I heard burials don't come easy around here. So much to do with such little time.
It's a sad reality, and I wish I had more time to pay respects to my men. But none of us do. And that is the one thing I truly regret.
You can pay your respects at a later date. But I really just did come in to check in, and it was nice having this chat with you. I might check in a bit later, and I mean, as you know, we came here for my companion's personal business with May, and also to deal with your situation. So we're not entirely sure where we'll go from here. But until we figure that out, I do hope we don't overextend our welcome and you offer us your hospitality.
You have done more than anyone would expect of you, so I believe you'll be hard pressed to overextend your welcome.
All right. I'll check in with you another time. I should get back to work.
You make your way out and back. You can see the movement, and it's just basically as you're moving back around towards the around to the other side of the tent, you can go back and you see Zex and Flora churning and breaking up the ground themselves. And as you kind of get out there, you make out the form of Gilgamesh, who Gilgamesh had actually started your day on the wall looking out towards where you had seen the possible encampment of people the night before. And you had noticed that the light itself, while not nearly as bright as the night before the attack, was still present. And as you were kind of still watching over the wall in the morning, you saw, it eventually caught your attention of Flora and Zex breaking up the ground where you and Rem had previously buried some people, and you had gone over there, whether to assist or to ask them what they were doing since Rem wasn't there. You weren't quite sure, but as you headed over there, Rem seemed to approach from the captain's tent, and the four of you all kind of pause a little bit. The four of you here and together in one space.
The captain says we have his hospitality until we figure out what we're going to do. And I spoke with him for a bit. And we've been here for a few days, so I feel almost indebted to this endeavor. But in reality, this isn't what we came here to do, you know?
I agree with that. But also, as well, we can always come back if they have a teleportation circle here, as long as I ask to see if they have one for me to copy down.
I doubt that they do. They don't even have any real magically inclined medics to the best of my knowledge. And I haven't seen a single soldier use any magic. And if they did have a teleportation circle, wouldn't they just teleport the troops through instead of making them trek this far north?
Fair enough.
I learned some things from the captain about what lies north. He says there's lots of ruins and caves and things of that nature. He says it's possible that the enemy could be hiding there, but he doesn't have the men to mount an offensive force. It sounds interesting to me, but at the end of the day, like I said, this isn't our business, and probably way out of our fighting class, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought I'd bring it up.
All right.
I'm gonna keep digging while we talk.
All right.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense, I guess. Did he decide what to do with Findhelm?
He said he would leave it within our judgment. So I'm deciding what to do. Do you guys have any input on that?
You know what I would do, what I would do with him.
I know exactly what you would do because you would do that with anything.
It's true.
I know exactly what you're like.
I would say my input would be that we should have him try to repent for his crimes in some way, and then I don't want to ever see him again.
I agree with you that he should repent for his crimes. And I'm thinking on it. I thought to myself, if push came to shove and we actually did mount the offensive for the Foremenos conflict, which, once again, isn't our business, it'd be nice to have someone that's adept at slinking around, don't you think? I don't know how you... I know you have
Yeah.
a terrible opinion on that one because you don't want to be around him. But we'll see how things go. And once we get down to, like, we're done with these guys, I am going to go get him.
All right. It does take you, if you guys are finishing it, but Gilgamesh, coming in, assisting you all, you are able to finish in about another hour as you bury the last of the men.
Did we have enough shovels?
Gilgamesh just takes his great axe and just...
Why didn't I think of this? It's great.
Gilgamesh just goes, "You need to break the ground." So,
It's just like him.
and
All right.
with that, you guys finish burying the men not burned by a fireball.
I want to go to the men burned by the fireball and up to Finhelm.
All right.
I'm gonna say to Finhelm, "Are you ready for your service?"
You just kind of hear the dimensional shackles just kind of clink as he slowly cranes his head to look up at you. Yes.
You've never killed anyone. If you ever killed anyone in particular, not for money, but just in general, self-defense maybe?
I mean, I've killed creatures, beasts. Not like this, no.
You ever dug a grave for any of them?
Can't say that I have.
Consider this a learning experience. Now, I want to wave Zex over.
I'll come over.
All right.
I'm going to unshackle him. You
I'm
are going to
going
keep
to
your eye
unshackle
on
him.
him. I have the key for this.
Oh, do you?
Or does it have a key? How does this work? Because we've never established key, but I shackled him, so I assume I have the key.
The dimensional shackles are kind of a thing of they do have
Purpose?
they do have a key. Although you can, it's like normal handcuffs where you can anyone can be shackled, not anyone can take them off. And so
he has the key.
Zex has the key, and as Zex goes, Zex, do you unshackle him?
First, I want to ask, are you having him bury these men?
He's burying these men, but I called you over here because I want you to keep an eye on him. Because if he teleports, you know I can't catch him. Or I could, because I did, but I'd prefer you kind of keep an eye just in case he gets a little wily, which I don't think he will. And I am going to look at him in a very condescending way. Do I roll performance for this?
You're rolling intimidation, I guess.
It's like a motherly condescending look. He reminds me of a child. It's like, oh damn, I gotta glue the fucking vase back together, man. Are you making it intimidation?
That's kind of an intimidating
It's kind
thing,
of
though, isn't it?
intimidation.
He's scared as fuck, man. That's a 21.
just kind of looks. You see him just kind of. It's almost like a wince that comes out of it. And he just kind of looks down at the ground and nods, and he's like, I'm ready.
I do have an extra suggestion.
What is your extra suggestion?
Having him bury these men, he should also bury Slange.
What do you mean bury Slange?
I mean, he has him in a box in his tent.
You have him in a what?
The beast that killed him didn't eat him or take his body, so I had to hide it.
In a box in your tent for 2 weeks?
I assumed it's why it's so heavily scented with lavender.
Really?
I didn't know what to do.
Guess you're burying him too. It's unfortunate, but it's the price we pay for our sins, isn't it? Let's go get him.
You see him kind of stiffly just move to his feet, and you unlock him, Zex?
Yeah, lock him, keeping a very close eye on him.
You unlock him, and as you keep watch, he goes, and you watch as he gets the trunk, and he drags the trunk out to the field, and just kind of stops. And Flora and Gilgamesh, you see this as well, as Findhelm drags the trunk out to where you guys have buried the other bodies, and then slowly and stiffly, but moving steadily, goes and retrieves and brings over to the field, along with the trunk, the 3 burned bodies.
I'm gonna like
Get the trunk open.
point at the trunk, and just be like, "What is this?"
Slange.
I'm just gonna nod my head and just kind of see what he does with it, I guess.
Can he get the trunk open?
I believe one of you took his tools off of him.
I did. I have them.
Yeah.
I'm proficient
He
with thieves' tools.
has no way of unlocking it.
I'm going to unlock it. Because I am also proficient with these tools. Don't ask questions you aren't prepared to have the answers to.
As you guys make your way back over, are you gonna try to pick the lock on the trunk?
Yeah, but before I do, I'm going to tell Flora to cover her nose. This is going to stink really bad.
As,
Flora's gonna look at you, scrunch her face, and kind of turn around.
What am I rolling for this?
so, if you're legitimately proficient in thieves' tools.
I'm legitimately proficient with thieves' tools, yes.
All right. So you're gonna roll the d20, add
Okay.
your dexterity modifier to it, and add your proficiency modifier. That is a thieves' tools roll.
So basically, I'm using sleight of hand.
Basically, but you're not expertised in it if you're expertised in sleight of hand.
So it's dex plus proficiency to the roll. Got you.
Yep, that's what thieves' tools are.
It's not open.
What'd you roll?
Nat 1 for a total of 8.
All right, as you put it in and you twist, it breaks. You see a
Thieves' tools is like a bunch of different things, though.
Seeing Rem like having problems with the box,
I'll do it.
I'm just gonna kind of.
You're not gonna bust this fucking box open.
I'm gonna step up, like, kind of around Ram, gesture to the box, and say, "Shall I?"
I want to try again.
Let me try.
All right, give it a go. I'm
Do
gonna
you-
hand off the thieves' tools momentarily.
All right. It's one natural one failure. So if by some reason Zex rolls a natural one, the thieves' tools, the lock picking pieces will be
Part of 'em.
unusable. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's hope I don't.
So if you nat one, there will be no more thieves' tools for you.
I did nat one, so it's okay. I got a fort now because I get to add my proficiency. So 18.
18. You hear a ting, and immediately the seal on it seems to break slightly, and you can. The trunk still smells quite a bit of lavender, but as you're all around this chest, you can instantly smell a more foul smell coming from inside the chest.
I'm gonna throw this thing open.
All right. As it opens up, the smell assaults your nose, and you see a slashed open, bloodied, partially dismembered purple tiefling inside that seems to have been forcefully shoved into the trunk. You see bits of flesh that have begun to like fall and like pull off the bone. It is a mounded pile of flesh at this point.
Zax is gonna run off over here and vomit.
Okay.
Go on. Take him out.
As you see Fintelm just kind of move, and then his leather arms just dip into the chest, and you hear just a squelch as he pulls it up, and then you hear the sounds of tendons and bones stretching and clanking and hitting against, as not all of the flesh is there.
Of course not.
It looks from the glance you can see that his right shoulder had been completely ripped off, and that all that is left on the right arm and shoulder is bones and spotted flesh. And as it goes, you can see the skin kind of slop off back down into some of the skin slop off back off into the chest, and you see Findhelm lay down into the snow the body of Slange next to the other three.
You said that pieces of the skin, like, some of the pieces, like, fell back into the chest?
Yeah.
I'm gonna look down at him, gesture to, like, the inside of the chest, and be like, "Oh, you missed a few bits."
Hill, please try to have some respect. Just a little bit. But more or less. This is what death is like. This is what death is. No matter how dignified a death you die, no matter what you lay down your life for, it takes us all. And this is what our bodies become. Look at it well.
I'm gonna,
Take it all
I'm gonna
in.
quickly walk over to Rem and tell him I'm gonna go ask the captain if they have a teleportation circle here, and then excuse myself from this.
You got time. I'm gonna start digging with Slange. I wanted the 3 men I'm gonna bury with the rest of the men, but with Slange, I want to put him over here. I want to put him like over here. I want
Alright.
to separate him a little.
Okay.
And I'm gonna dig with him, and we're gonna have a chat while we dig.
All right. Flora, you see Findhelm just kind of his bloodied hand just kind of reaches out as you're still holding a shovel, and it's just like, if I can. And just seems like he's asking for permission for your shovel. And with no apparent answer from Flora, he actually just kind of quickly glances around and see the shovel that Zex had, which is still buried partially into the ground, and goes and grabs on that one as his hands kind of curl around, and you hear the thunk, thunk, as he begins to slowly break the ground.
I'm gonna dig with him.
All right.
I'm gonna talk while we dig.
So you move next to him. Flora and Gilgamesh just kind of eyeing him as the other two begin to dig. Findhelm being quiet, and Rem just next to him. And Rem, all you can hear is just a slight bit of his grunts of exertion as he's into the ground, eventually finding purchase, and begins to make his small hole.
Do you resent me for what I have done?
It's just... it's... payment, one way or another. If I'd gotten away with it, I would have had to pay with my conscience. And you hear it eventually push down to the ground, and it scrapes across stones, and he's just continuing to move the earth. Not trained in this, just doing what he can.
It beats being buried alive, though, doesn't it?
This is probably one of the more better outcomes for me. I can agree.
The captain left your fate in our hands, and I'm not going to enslave you if you think that's what's going to happen here as the atonement for lives. I know what it's like to not have choice, and I agree with you. I hate when I'm forced to do things that I didn't choose to do, because our life is ours to choose, no matter how mundane the choices we make are. But for now, there is a small price to be paid. For the most part, though, I do think we've decided not to kill you. So, bear with us for a bit longer.
Hold on, is Gil hearing this? Is Gil close enough to hear this?
Yeah, Flora and Gil can both hear you. Rem
Sure.
have this conversation.
I don't think I was unmuted. I wanted to like kind of stand roughly above the pit and like kind of monitor him.
It's not a pit.
I thought that's what you were digging.
They're
No,
digging
it's like a-
graves. They're like at
It's
this
great.
point.
They're separated.
At this
It's just-
point,
it's a little
Rem
weird.
is At this point, Rem has gotten a bit farther, and Rem is about ankle deep. Findhelm is just making this shallow channel as you're
Ankle
just kind of
deep for me ain't
standing.
much.
Yeah.
But when Rem says like, we haven't decided to kill all of you,
All of you?
or we haven't decided to kill you. Sorry. Gil's gonna say, not all of us.
I did say mostly.
And it's just this kind of small pause as Findhelm's the shovel is just into the ground. He just kind of turns and looks at you, Gil, and just kind of turns back and kind of half nods to himself and keeps breaking into the earth.
Pay Gil no mind. He got blood on the brain. Take that as you will. Rather it be brain damage or a fascination with gore. A little bit of both, if you ask me.
I'll not pretend I've I'm guilt-free in this. He's got every right to want to.
So let me run something by you. Do you know anything about the forces to the north? Your attack seemed to eerily line up with theirs. Was it just a coincidence, and you took advantage of a moment? Or do you know something that you didn't tell us?
Well, it's quite easy for me to guess that they're the ones paying. When I got here, there was a addition, a part of the letter I stole, I guess, that I was told to burn. I wasn't told of the full-scale attack, but I was told that on the day of reinforcements, the day the assassination was supposed to take place, a distraction would happen, and I could use it if I wanted. I don't know a lot, but...
Insight check.
Okay.
18.
18. It's a hard kind of thing to look at him as the deeper voice, the just kind of slumped shoulders, and you believe him, but you're not sure if you should believe yourself. He just kind
I
of
got no clue what that means. But sure.
just continues to push it in, but all I've come to realize is that whoever's up there is probably the one who is going to pay me.
Here's a thought. What would you say if I said that we were maybe thinking about invading the main encampment and cutting off the head of the snake of all this mess?
It's like,
And if they were the ones that were going to pay you, reasonably they'd have money there.
you can see the shovel
Say
just kind
enough
of like
to-
halfway up to stop, and it's just kind of a pause as you're going through this. He just kind of slowly sets it down and listening.
And it would be within reason to say that if they had enough money to do a 50,000 gold contract, they might have a bit more, say enough to maybe buy a boat and flee the country. Potentially.
What are you trying to get me to do?
I'm saying that if maybe we went that way, it'd be nice to have someone that's a little bit more adept at slinking around than, say, me, and I'm gonna like jangle my armor a little bit, and this fellow over here, and I'm just gonna point at Gil.
That's true. Not trying to have any offense, but you all were never the striking as the silent type. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but just an observation.
That's only a thought. Give or take.
Well, I'll keep in mind that you're having that thought.
Either way, what we decide to do regarding your fate, which, as I said, most of us, not this guy, have decided that you're not going to be killed, for the most part. But just wait a bit longer. We can all decide what we're going to do at dinner.
I'll make it swift if none else.
And you see this kind of half nod from Findhelm again as he continues his work.
I wonder if changelings are immune to Zone of Truth, and this is one whole fucking sham.
Zex, speaking of this, you make your way over to the tent flap, and it's not that far of a walk as you are at the captain's tent.
Alright, I'm going in.
And as you push, you can see May and Goran are in the middle of a conversation as they both stop and turn. It's like, May kind of turns. Oh, may I help you, actually? Zex,
yes.
it's right? It's Zex, right?
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yes. I was wondering if you guys had a teleportation circle anywhere here in Foremenos.
You see them kind of exchange a quick look before turning back to you, and no. Although that would make it a lot easier. I believe there was one in Foremenos beforehand, but hell if we know where it is, and most likely when the city was evacuated, it was broken.
Alright. I just figured I would ask you guys quickly so that if you did have one, we could come back if need be.
Of course. Sorry, I wish I could make it easy for you, but there's no easy way in Foremenos.
Alright, well, thank you.
Of course.
Then I'm gonna head back over here. I would have loved to have caught a little bit of that conversation that they were having, but I assume I was too slow.
You still had, it was a bit of a conversation, but basically as you're coming back, you're catching the we'll decide your fate over dinner and that whole tail end of the conversation.
Alright.
Any word of a teleportation circle?
No, they got nothing. They said there used to be one, but during the evacuation it was probably broken, and even if it wasn't, they have no idea where it would be at.
Do you think it's worth going to try and see if we can find it?
I would say it would be worth it, but I also think it would take a few days, depending on where it might be at.
Findhelm, you see anything that looks like a teleportation circle while you were going out through the city?
No. When I was watching and keeping track, it was mostly just running and sleeping between living rooms, but I did get through a number of the houses and I saw nothing.
Alright.
There was one. It would probably be in a temple of some sort. Wouldn't be in a residential area.
No. It would either be in the main noble area or it would be in some kind of religious thing.
It's worth poking around for, I guess. How much more of the day do we have?
As you guys have pushed through, you have used up the majority of the day. It's probably going to you've still got time, don't get me wrong, but it's probably like 3-4 p.m. at this point.
We could poke around when we're done here. See if we find anything.
Alright. Anything interesting happened while I got was talking to the captain.
I brought it up with Slange that How would he feel about cooperating with us if we decided to raid the enemy encampment to the north, wherever it may be? I don't know. I haven't seen it, but they think that's where it is. And that
All right.
tiefling that you were talking about might be there.
Yes.
I have seen, when I've been up on the wall, I have seen a somewhat of a light source to the north, so there's at the very least something that way.
All right. Well, you want to give me the cliff notes of the conversation as we head out to look for this teleportation circle if you think we have time?
That's all it was. It's just how would we all feel about going to the north and dealing with that? The Foremenos conflict isn't our issue, but it's your guys' choice. I just thought I'd bring it up. If we did help, it might get us some favors with some big people, but as it stands, it seems like the big people don't even care about what's going on here.
No, doesn't. Well, I guess then that's that. Let's go look for that circle then if you want to do that. Should we let the captain know where we're going?
Yeah, we'll let them know, but we're gonna finish this up really quick. I do
Alright.
have one more question for Finhelm before we end up reshackling him before we go, because that is probably what's going to happen. You said you were indebted to that creature. Exactly how did you become indebted to that creature?
Amarin. Amarin? Something like that.
I
Amarin.
stole from the wrong creature. I found it, I don't even know how long ago. And it had acquired a sizable hoard, stash, whatever. And I didn't know what had collected at all, and thought that I could be quick and get in and out with a nice sack of gold, and it caught me and trapped me in a room for about, my best guess would probably be a month, but it might have been more. I don't know. Time gets weird when you're trapped underground. And I would say I traded my life for servitude, but it felt more like, it felt less of a trade and more of a desperation, a desperate attempt to keep myself alive. I got to the point after my first run-in with you all that I felt it was no longer worth being safe from that thing if all I had to do was turn everyone I ever met against me. I said it before, and I'll say it again. I expected Kamaran to kill me, not you.
Life works out in funny ways.
Indeed it does.
Funny and sad ways. I'm also going to insight check everything he just said.
All right.
Because I have trust issues now.
Me too.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe it entirely. We
Me
got an
too.
11.
11?
I got a 7.
It doesn't seem like he's trying to hide anything from you, but you two naturally know that he's a very hard to read person.
Does this man have any hair?
He does. It's thin white hair that moves down, goes to about his shoulders. But just on the top, his face is completely clean shaven.
Guido?
Are you spending the time to finish the 4 graves, or are you leaving and letting Finthelm finish them?
We're gonna finish the graves as quickly as I can.
Okay.
And then we're gonna go look for this maybe not circle.
All right.
Gil, are you coming with us to look for the maybe not circle?
What are we doing with Finthelm?
And we're gonna shackle him and hand him back over to the elf woman, and then we're gonna decide his fate over dinner. Look, I know you want to kill him, but that's not what's gonna happen. And if we do decide to go to the north, we're gonna get
Probably
to kill
not
lots
gonna-
of people.
Probably
If you're
not
lucky,
gonna
you
kill
might
him.
even be able to kill the dude that attacked you.
Yeah, no. I'll go with them. I'll help look for the circle.
All right. So, it takes about half an hour to finish up these graves, but eventually, Rem, you and Finthelm working, it just puts them slowly, one by one, into the earth, and finishes as Slange's body is laid down and placed there. You step away, and Finthelm just places, and then putting part of his body weight on it, just pushes Zex's shovel slightly into the dirt. And he wipes his bloody hands, part of it with blisters from not doing it a lot, and part of it from the blood from Slange's body, and the others down onto his trousers, and just looks and kind of sighs and looks between you all. So are you taking Finthelm back?
Without a word, I'm gonna take my shovel and then I'm gonna put the shackles back on him.
All right. You take the shovel, put shackles back on him. Are you taking him back to the elven woman who is watching over him?
Yes.
All right. So you take him back there, and set Finthelm down next to the woman, and you 4 are free to do what you feel you need to do.
I'm gonna turn to the other 2 and basically just straight up ask, so would we know where this circle may be? Or if they even have one?
The only leads that we would have is it might be in some kind of religious place, or in, like, if this place had a noble family, could be in that sort of area as well.
How close is Flora to us? Is she within, like, could I yell to Flora right now?
Yeah, Flora's still hanging around.
Oh, she's right there. Okay. I'm gonna turn over to Flora and, like, kind of wave her over.
Flora acknowledges the wave over and walks over.
Flora, do you know anything about what teleportation circles and churches?
Jacob.
You would actually. You actually have the knowledge of 2 teleportation circles. In where you grew up, in the church that you first were from, there was a teleportation circle, although you're not sure if that one's still there. And then in the when you transferred to the church in Greywall, the Church of Bahamut has one. And you being a studied religious person knows that the two places people have teleportation circles are either in places of government, so like a castle if like a high-ranking noble lives there, or in temples and churches where there are people who naturally gravitate there that have these powers and have the time to dedicate so long to making a teleportation circle. So you know that nobles' houses and churches and temples are the general places where you'd find them.
And with that, I'm going to relay all of that information over to Gilgamesh.
Am I close enough to hear?
Oh, everyone's close enough to hear.
Dope. Do you know these teleportation circles well enough to describe them to me? Because I have to be able to copy down like what it looks like, right?
And Flora, you would not know that.
No. Okay.
It's similar in copying down a spell rune. It's very intricate. It's very harsh. Like Zek's someone who's like become practiced and kind of knows the way to copy a teleportation circle in order to be used. It would take you probably
There's a minute
like
in the thing for teleportation circle.
it takes you time, and that's to write it down. To memorize it is a whole nother thing. You have probably a copy probably inscribed on a small piece of paper.
I don't want to argue that.
But
Sounds
no,
good.
Flora, you do not know
Okay.
the runes of the Church of Bahamut's in Grey Wall's teleportation circle. So, what are you guys doing?
I'm just gonna look, basically just Rem and Zex, and ask, well, do we know where any possible churches or nobles' estates could be?
Let's ask.
Let's ask.
We'll head
Into
towards
the tent.
captain.
Yup.
All right, as you, Zexy once again just kind of push into the tent, and May kind of looks at you. And just, do you ever knock?
I assume the rest of them are coming in with me, so it's not just me.
Yes.
Gilgamesh will be staying outside.
I'm gonna say knock on what door?
You can, and she like moves over to the side, just pushes on the tent. It's just common decency. As the rest of you, Flora and Rem, you move into the tent as well with Zex. Well,
You have a map of Foremenos?
well, there's generally not any reason to move out in Foremenos. We really only have the wall itself. I guess what I'm saying in short is no, we don't have that sort of thing. Not a lot of us aren't even native to this town.
Alright. We're gonna go out and try to find the teleportation circle. See if it still works.
I wish you the best of luck. Should prove challenging.
Alright.
I would tell you though, and you see her go over, and you see pulls out, similar to the ledger that you guys had gotten when you were looking over the troops and just kind of flipping through, just kind of mumbling to herself. I would... You've met them, Litharil. They were, the elvish gentlemen that were, one of the two that were guarding you, when you came here. First got here. They might have a little bit more knowledge, of the actual surrounding area, if you care to ask them. If not, I'm sure you'll manage, but if you want any help.
You want to ask them, Zax?
No, you go ahead, Rum.
All right, I guess I'll go ask them. Thank you for your time. Next time we'll knock.
Thank you.
I'm not promising to knock next time.
As you guys go, it's easy to find Litharil, and you go up and you can see the elven man. He's actually still over at the entrance to the tent that you guys have been staying at before. And as you approach, he just kind of puts a hand up and acknowledges you.
I heard you might know something about town, and we're looking for what could have been the teleportation circle.
Well, Well, I myself have never seen it, but I could lead you around towards, the general, like, the courthouse, maybe, could be a point where they had it at, and we did have a Church of the Platinum Dragon, a little towards the west of town, and we could check there. Honestly, I'm not sure where else it could be. But at the very least, I can give you starting points.
Sounds good to me.
Sounds like a plan.
Wonderful. And with that, is there anything you guys are doing before you head out?
Not before we head out, but as we walk over, I want to talk to Ram.
We're gonna let April know what we're doing.
All right.
I just assumed April was sick again.
Well, April's not sick, and is actually as you're talking to them, you can see them just kind of working around, and they've seemed to be a little bit comfortable, a little bit more comfortable than the rest of you in Foremenos, and they're helping out and working along with other people. And you, as you approach and tell them about this, like, oh, of course. I'm gonna stay here and help out around. I hope that's all right.
That's fine.
It's perfectly okay.
All right. I'll be here, and you all be safe.
Do our best.
And as you guys move out, you can see the snow is just kind of crunching underneath your feet as you all head out. The sun is up and bright as it's just kind of making its way around. It's a very, very, almost, I wouldn't say hot day, but it's hotter than, since you guys have gotten a little more acclimated to the temperature in Foremenos, it's almost odd to feel at this time. It's almost like disturbingly warm for the day. And as Lithril just kind of moves through, he just kind of looks back at you and is, well, where to first? The church or the courthouse?
Go to the courthouse
What?
first.
Yeah.
All right. Sure, it's and he points and starts leading you all towards the actual what should I say, the towards kind of the southern side of town, seeming that you guys have gone currently you guys are at the northernmost part of town. It's kind of like the tip of the actual town. And as he just kind of moves, you guys are, it's not slow travel, but as you're watching, you can see the general array of the town is stone buildings, and you can see some of them have been just abandoned, and you can see they're not very well kept, and you can see some water damage on some, and others, it looks like they've been hit with a meteor, and windows have been smashed in, doors have been broken down, and every once in a while you can see broken carts, broken boxes of people, evidence of people that have fled.
Well, as we're walking over, I will ask Rem something.
Yeah, what's up?
So while I was passed out, because I was super drunk, could you just explain to me exactly what happened?
I'm just gonna go over what happened, but you watch the thing. You know what happened.
Yes. And then I have something to say after that. This is all a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
So if Fintelm attacked during when these demons were there, how did he know to attack at that point? Do you think he was just taking an opportunity?
He said in the note that he stole, it was detailed that an attack was going to happen on this day, on that particular day, and he could use it as a distraction. What I want to know is why did the people that he was supposedly working for know that reinforcements were coming on that particular day, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm confused about. But as far as what he said, it checks out for the most part.
For the most part? Okay. I just wasn't sure, because if he stole that note, we didn't get anything like that where it would detail that when we got our note from the underground and gray wall. So
Ask him when we get back.
that sounds reasonable. All right.
As you guys go and continue forth, eventually Lithril stops and looks, and you see him point at this like larger than the rest, but it's not like insanely large stone building with like a slight dome top to it. And as he's just kind of looking through, he's basically just like, well, this is it. Just the circle you're looking for, right?
Yes.
Right. Well, best we can do
Let's
is
go look for the circle.
check, and you all begin to move and converge on the actual thing. As you open it up, the door itself is wood, and as it just kind of creaks open, you can see it's kind of basic. Foremenos was never a a large city. It's slightly bigger than Lichton, but Lichton didn't even have a courtroom itself. It's a large chamber that opens up, and you can see different sets of rows of benches, and then it kind of converges into a large, seemingly set in stone, literally, and carved out spot that marks a large door. Marks out a large pedestal, where you could only assume the judge would sit. Looking around, you can see a door on the far right side of the room, and then you can also see another door on the closer left side of the room.
All right.
Split up.
Well, yeah.
All
I'll go through the door on the left side.
I'll take the right.
All right. Gil, are you going left or right?
I'll go with Rem to the right.
All right. Flora, are you going with Zex? I'll take that as yes. And as you all begin to head your way, Zex, you're going to the left? Was it?
Yes.
Okay. As you push on the door and it opens up, what you see is a seemingly small storage area. Very, very unassuming. You can see different cleaning utensils and implements, and then you can see a shelf that has been completely ransacked and is empty. But besides that, you don't see anything else immediately.
Can I investigate the room?
Of course.
Uh, 21.
21. As you and Flora just kind of move throughout the room, you begin turning over things, and the specific things you find, it's the normal sweeping broom. You find bins that seem to be used to take stuff out, and you see just small scrapes of other things. Nothing out of the ordinary, nothing special of note that you find. Rem and Gilgamesh, as you guys move to the far right, as you open it up, you see it opens into a smaller area. Still stone, but it has 2 wooden chairs and a large table. Around it, there is a seemingly like a library-esque bookshelf. It has 4 different rows of books, and you can see holes where it seems that some books were either pulled and thrown out, as some of them are on the floor, or completely gone, as if they were taken.
Can I look over these books?
Sure. Make an investigation check.
Do I have time for guidance?
Yeah, of course. It's not immediately harsh.
I'll help look through the books as well.
So now you have advantage, Rem. Or if you want to, or if Gilgamesh wants to look independently.
Let me look. Nah, I'll just give Rem advantage.
All right, so you're helping.
And then, is there anything on the table? Or is it just empty?
You're kind of looking on the table. On the surface of the table is clean. There's not really anything on it. As you're looking around, there are things scattered on the ground beneath it. You see like small articles of clothing, maybe handkerchiefs and like things like that, and then you can see like a small, as you're kind of looking underneath the table, there's a small cylindrical object that you just kind of see that looks like it had been pushed off the table.
I want to pick that up real quick.
Okay, as you pick it up and you get a closer look at it, it looks like it was the thicker bottom part of a glass that, as it was pushed off the table, it had shattered.
Seeing that it's essentially useless, can I throw it back down on the ground and try to break it?
Sure, roll a strength check.
If I roll a nat 20, can it turn back into sand? It was only a 15.
As it shatters still. It's maybe not as much as you wanted.
And then I'll look through books with Rem.
All right, so what was that investigation check?
Do I still get to use my guidance with him looking with me? Like what?
So
with the advantage that he gives
it's-
me, could I still use it?
Yeah, it's the advantage and then the guidance.
With advantage and guidance, it comes to a dirty 20.
All right.
Oh.
As you're looking, there is an extensive list, an extensive bit of books. There's quite a bit of fiction. There is one that seems to have been a telling of the titles that strike your name, or strike your fancy. There's one that is a almost kind of a thesis paper of farming in Foremenos. There are a lot of books on strategy of wartime. There are a bunch of law books, and then there are different political books. Some of them are the general history of Foremount is one title that might strike your eye. The Foremenos Bestiary would also be one that might be interesting to you. And there's a curious, smaller book that you find as well, that had been pulled out and the pages kind of flayed open on the floor. And it, as you just kind of open it, the book itself is blank and it's leather bound. And as you just kind of pull it open and thumb through it, you see small markings. And then as you kind of pull it open, you realize that the page itself just moves open and folds upwards. It's like one of those books that the pages open up even further. And as you go, you realize that those markings on the inside of the pages were actually darker ink stains on a map. And it shows a small map of the area northward of Foremenos, it seems.
Bruh.
You know it's
place that
the
I-
area northward of Foremenos because it shows where the wall is, and then it goes upward and pushes into it.
Okay, so I'm taking every book that you said I'd be interested in. So I'm taking the thesis on agriculture.
Okay.
Thesis on agriculture, not signature.
It
Come
was
on.
a thesis on agriculture in Foremenos.
Foremenos. The Foremenos or Foremount Bestiary.
Foremenos Bestiary.
Foremenos Bestiary.
The history of Foremount.
History of Foremount.
And then there was the unlabeled book that had the map northward of Foremenos.
Unlabeled book with map north of Foremenos. And then the rest was like law.
Yeah,
And
it's
political.
laws and politics books. It's kind of like almost textbooks you can kind of
Mhm.
get.
I also want the sexiest book in this library.
Depends on what you feel is sexy.
I want something with the raunchiest title I can find.
Sun Tzu's The Art of War.
Sun Tzu's The Art of War.
I'll take the war books too. Yeah, I'll take those too.
Okay, so you take some military strategy books. There's
Are
nothing
any
really
books
with a
on-
spicy title.
Damn.
Are there any books having to do with melee or hand-to-hand combat?
This is a courthouse, not a clubhouse.
But there were books about war, so there could be. I don't know, man.
You've just kind of looked and skimmed over the cover. You'd actually have to open and read them. If you're opening and reading them right now in the courthouse, I can tell you about it, but time will pass.
But none of the covers would lead me to that.
The covers themselves are quite plain. They don't have
I
like
guess-
pictures on the covers.
So I guess none of the titles would lead me to that.
No, specifics for them are the art of defense and the other one is the brutality of gunpowder.
These are the books that I have.
Those are the war strategy books.
Art of Defense. Brutality of Gunpowder. Okie doke. But no teleportation circle in sight.
Nope.
This wasn't entirely useless though.
Anything in a different language?
Are these all in a language I can read? I'll skim through them all briefly. Just to take a peek.
The ones that you were looking in, they were all in common.
Is there anything that's not in common?
Nope, they're all in
Skim
common.
them? Okay.
And the rest of them
Humans, man.
seem to be textbooks
Okay.
and stuff that you'd have to buy for $70.
Can I get one on war crimes and give it to Gil?
You can guess that there's one of the lawyer books that has a chapter on war crimes, and it's this heavier, deep red tome is handed to you by Rem Gilgamesh.
What is it called?
War
War
Crimes
Crimes
Incorporated.
101.
It's practicing
game,
it's
bro.
Practicing Law Volume 17.
I'm just gonna
17?
I'm just gonna glare down at Rem and ask, what is this?
Consider it something to strengthen your morals.
How,
At worst,
how
we
thick
could
is
burn
this
it.
book? How thick is this book?
It's
Big enough to kill Ram if you smack him upside the head with
It's-
it?
what's a good, like the Game of Thrones books?
Oh no. Those are
Vaguely,
so...
yeah.
It's about as
They're
thick as
big
one
books.
of those.
Oh god, okay.
Is it bigger than those though?
No,
Like,
it's-
is it the same thickness but
it's-
bigger?
It's the same thickness, but it's the standard textbook size of like a math book.
That's one thick book.
I'm just gonna hold the book by the spine
Uh-huh.
and then choke up really far on my great axe. So like it's essentially holding like a hand axe.
Yeah.
Can I cut the book in half?
As you run through it, I'm gonna have you make a strength check.
It's that thick, bro. It's that
It's
thick.
that thick.
Fail.
That
Fail. Not
thick.
one.
Nah, there's no way I failed this. I got a what is it, 14?
As you into the book, it sinks in, and you're just like, as you push it through and you muscle your way through, you hear the as the book rips, and the half that you're holding onto stays in your hand, and the other half just to the floor.
I'm gonna drop the other half in my hand and say, it was a fun read. I enjoyed it. Thank you.
That's the exact fucking reason I gave you that book. There's nothing here. We should go.
Did Guild?
Can we
see any
investigate the
books
rest of the room? Is there
in-
anything else here? Any
Make
doors?
You can make it another investigation check, I guess.
I'll help him with this one as well.
All right.
Did Gil see any books in other languages?
You guys did not find any books in other languages, no.
Nothing. Okay.
Ooh. 10.
10. You find the
With
shattered
advantage?
glass pieces on the ground. They're the chairs, the table. You find underneath the table there are some like fingernail scratch marks, but other than that, no, nothing.
Wait. What did you say was under the table?
It's like fingernail scratch marks. You know how like kind of when someone gets restless underneath a desk and they're like creepy like that, and they just run their hands and dig them into
like
the desk?
On the underside of the table. Okay.
Yes.
I thought you meant like on the ground, and I'm like, bro, what the fuck happened?
This is an interrogation room. I've interrogated enough people to know what this is. Truthfully, I have.
Yeah, no, fair enough. I'll look to Rem and say, there's nothing here. Let's go.
Let's go check the judge's podium, and then we're done.
All right.
Wasn't there a third room?
No.
There's just the two.
There
no.
was
There was
the
the
three
main hall and the
rooms.
two
There's the
side
main
rooms.
room and the two side rooms. So there technically was 3 rooms.
Okay. I thought there was a third door besides the one we came in.
Nope.
Nope.
All right. As you all kind of meet back out in the hall, and Rem quickly like looks over the podium, you can see the spot in the stone on the podium where the gavel would be for the judge. But besides that, it seems like everything out here in the main area has been cleaned out.
Does the podium does it seem fixed to anything?
The podium seems to be almost carved from stone itself.
So it's probably heavy as fuck. Okay.
All right. Off to the church, then.
All right.
Off to the church. I want to find out what you found in that other realm, Rem. What was in there?
The Rem realm. Books.
Rem.
Anything interesting?
I found a map of north of Foremenos.
Cool. Gimme.
We'll look at it
Gimme.
later.
Puppies.
We're all gonna look at it together.
I'm the map man.
Over dinner.
I'm the map man.
Can he add this to his map?
It will take some time and some actual
Like tape.
knowledge of comparing time, but you will be able to eventually, yeah.
Good.
We'll save this and you can add it to yours later. I want to show it to the captain first.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So
Sure.
you guys all make your way through. Lithril escorts you out. Just kind of. I'm sorry it didn't have what you were looking for, but it's what it is, I guess. And as you all start heading your way over towards where the church is, you all just kind of start slowly moving your way through, and eventually it takes about an hour, a little bit over, as you go and you can see eventually this peak, as most of the buildings are like 2 to 3 stories, and then you can see the church itself goes 2 stories high, and then the steeple itself rises an additional 2-3 stories, so you can see the steeple for a while as you're going upwards.
This is huge.
as you're going and you get to the door, Flora, you see the familiar symbol of Bahamut, the platinum dragon, and your deity. As you're all standing outside of the Church of Bahamut in Foremenos, what would you like to do?
I'm going in.
Going in.
All right.
Are we going in to check for the symbol?
For the teleportation circle.
Teleportation circle?
Yep.
Perfect.
All right.
Also,
mhm.
sorry, go ahead. Never mind.
As you all enter, it opens into a large room. First, the thing you see right ahead of you in this singular room is there's a large platinum-looking bowl, probably 10 to 15 feet wide, but very, very shallow. And in the bottom of that, you see like shimmering, almost water. And then as you look a little bit further in the shallow thing, it looks like some people have like thrown copper into it. A little further along, and you can see the pews of the church itself. As it leads up, the sunlight itself shows through this stained glass window at the far end of the temple, shining in and actually extending the light, the colored light coming from the stained glass window, illuminates a patch of the floor. The temple
okay.
is completely empty, it seems. But oddly, it does not look disrespected.
So you're saying there's no one in this temple at the moment?
No.
Okay.
Okay. Well, Flora, you've seen 2 other teleportation circles, so you would know the general area where it might be at.
Jacob?
Would you have a guess?
You know, in your church, they have a, like a, not necessarily secret. Teleportation circles aren't secret. People know you have them, but it's kind of in a offset.
Privileged knowledge.
Yeah, it's in an offset area that is generally locked off and not necessarily hidden of, but out of the public's knowledge.
Well, Zex, as much as I would like to take you directly to the teleportation circle, usually they are locked off.
Okay.
We would be
Well-
lucky to be able to find it.
And
I mean,
just for a visual perspective and to let you guys have a little bit of an easier time.
Oh Lord, he made a battle map.
let's go.
We have to
It's
fight
some-
the priests.
It's a motherfucking battle map.
In my
Are there
own
any-
church? In my own
Cool.
church!
In front of my deity?
Just for a perspective, and so you guys, I know you guys get uncomfortable if I'm just describing things.
We're
Are there
fighting
any
the
doors?
There's the one door that you came through, and as far as you can see, you don't see any others.
Why is
I'm
this
gonna
place
start
so fucking
feeling
big
up
with
these
no other
walls.
doors?
I'm gonna feel up the walls.
All
I'm gonna
right,
feel on the walls too.
you both can make
I'm
investigation
gonna go look at
checks.
the stained glass reflection.
All right.
I got time for guidance.
Yeah, if you're investigating stuff.
And to be inspired,
You inspire you, I'll guidance me.
You said
I
perception,
can't
Jacob?
inspire myself. Inspiration only works on other creatures.
You inspire me, I'll guidance you.
Okay.
Jacob?
If you want to look like hard through the stained glass and see what you can see, you can make a perception check. But I thought you were just looking at it.
I mean, I'm just looking around in general, trying to find it.
All right.
Pretty lights. Okay. I rolled an 18.
18. All right. Zex, Rem, what are your investigations?
23.
23.
Oh Lord. What's that inspiration?
A D8.
Oh Lord. That's a 27.
Alrighty.
If there's any hidden doors, we
so-
found them.
Zex, you're going to the right or the left side along the door, and Rem, you're going to the right side along the wall.
That's how
Yeah.
we line up.
And you guys are just searching the wall, just moving
Yeah.
through. All right. As you two, this Flora just kind of moves forward to the stained glass window and begins peering into it. Rem and Zex are just like, just looking and patting through the wall. You just hear like dull, muffled thuds from Zex, and then just king, 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 king from Rem, just patting down the wall. Eventually, you guys get all the way through the wall, checking the walls, and neither of you find anything on the walls. No divots, no crevices, nothing unnatural.
Place is so big, it goes somewhere.
Flora,
Well,
Maybe
you
there's a
Yeah.
side entrance.
There are no doors. What about the floor? I want to search the floor now.
all right. Flora,
Jacob.
yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Flora, as you are peering into the actual stained glass, it's beautiful and intricate patterns. It fills you with a slight sense of comfortable, and you get a small feeling of warmth in your chest.
Is that Bahamut leading me towards the teleportation circle?
You don't know.
Okay, I want to check out this thing that's back here.
All right.
Ba-
As you look, it's a large platinum-esque bowl. At the bottom of it, there seems to be translucent liquid water, probably at the bottom, just slowly moving back and forth. And then at the
Can this
bottom,
be moved, or is it
like
there?
it's probably with the vibrations of you guys walking around, but the water is like slowly rippling. And at the bottom you can see copper pieces where people have probably, almost like a wishing well, put in copper pieces.
And this cannot be moved.
Are you going to try and move it?
Can I try and move it?
Sure. Make a strength check or athletics check.
Athletics check, okay. I rolled a 19 plus athletics. Hold on. So that's a 22.
As you grasp onto it and push, are you pushing it towards the door?
I'm pulling it, actually.
Pulling it? All right,
Mhm.
so you actually just start to drag it along the floor with you. As you can hear the of metal moving along the floor as it comes with you.
I'm just watching her do this, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just sitting there watching.
Yep.
Absolutely
nothing
fucking
underneath of it.
Shredded.
Nope. You don't see anything underneath it.
Okay, can I move it back then? I don't wanna
It's
keep it.
easy enough to move back.
Great.
As you move it, you just see the liquid just.
As Flora's moving it back, I'm just gonna look at her and say, "Did you find anything?"
Flora's gonna give a quick, Gil, you could have put yourself to use, but instead you decided to stand there like a dumbass. But no, I did not find anything. Thank you.
She said the only thing it good for is muscle, and you couldn't even do that shit right. I want to investigate the stained glass. I want to touch it like Mario 64 style.
Okay. And Zex, I believe you were gonna do something as well.
Oh yeah, I'm patting down the entire floor.
Okay, Zex, make investigation check. Ram, as you reach out and touch the stained glass, it's very cool to the touch with the frigid weather up in Foremenos. You just kind of run your hand along the stained glass.
This place is like 4 stories tall, isn't it?
It itself is 2 stories, and you can see the ceiling goes up 20 feet. and then it seems like there's a steeple of it that goes up a further 2-3 stories.
How do they get to the steeple then?
Mm,
Let's check the outside, see if there's a way up. A ladder to get on the roof, maybe?
Guidance.
Oh yeah, you can have guidance.
It's just padding down the floor.
Have some guidance.
19.
19.
Tell me your secret.
As you're just moving through the floor, you find a couple things. Wedged in between some of the pews, you find a symbol of Bahamut. And you find a small book that seems to be inscribed with different prayers and hymns to the Platinum Dragon. No secret
I'm gonna write
passages.
that down.
Yeah, no secret passages, no hidden switches, no teleportation circles.
Too bad. So I'm gonna label that as prayer book. And that symbol of Bahamut, is it like inscribed on the floor, or is it like an amulet of some kind?
It is it's like a small necklace, and as the chains come together, it runs into a small, like a blue, like metal, like a blue tinted metal, and as it kind of goes down into a ribbon, looking shape. It's still metal and still metallic, but it's a blue. It's made to look like a blue ribbon. You can see a dragon head that looks like it is made out of platinum, which is the symbol of Bahamut.
Great. I'll pick that up, and I'm not gonna put it on, but I'll hold on to it.
All right.
I guess that's that then. Nothing on the floor.
All right.
Let's poke around the outside.
All right.
Okay.
So you guys are moving around the outside?
Mm-hmm.
All right. As you move outside, funny enough, on the side of the building, it's not hard to find, there is a ladder.
Yeah, let's climb the ladder. Climb it.
I'm
Get up
climbing.
there.
All right. As you guys kind of climb the ladder,
Bro, why the fuck am I looking for a ladder when I can fly? I
Gil
can
is often
fucking
not
fly.
not to climb the ladder.
Gil, you're not climbing the ladder?
Gil isn't climbing the ladder.
All right. So,
Is there any sort of underground entrance?
you can look around, make an investigation check.
I'm gonna make an investigation check.
Have some guidance before I climb up the ladder.
And some inspiration.
Okay. How? What?
She doesn't know
Roll
what
your
those are.
D20.
You have to tell her.
Okay. Roll
Your
that.
investigation.
Add my
Which
investigation.
is a D4.
Now roll a d4.
D4.
Okay, D4.
Now roll a D8.
So 25.
25.
What the fuck is this spelling?
As you look, you can see you do notice a small, like, kind of like a cellar hatch around the outside. It was a little hard to see because it was buried in snow, but you recognize the outline and dust it
I'm
off
going
quite
to
easily.
scoop the snow out of the way, and can I try and open it?
Yeah, you see it's locked.
Can I break the lock with my flail?
We can pick lock that when we come back down, homie.
But can I break it?
It's your god, not mine.
Yeah, you can break it. It's just generally easy enough with a flail. It takes you a couple, and it's loud as you just hear kung, 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 just slamming it into it. But eventually there's a kind of a ping sound as it breaks.
Okay. When I open it, what do I see?
You see a small wooden staircase that is leading down.
Okay, can I take that staircase? Is it dark? Would I need
It is
anything?
dark.
Okay, in that case, I'm not going to. Actually, hold on. I do have candles in my equipment. Can I light one and take it down with me?
Yeah, it's not a lot of light, but it's something.
Something, yeah.
So yeah, if you want to, you can definitely do that.
Okay, I'm gonna do that. I'm probably not gonna be able to see a lot. Do I hear anything? Or
Make
is it silent?
Make a perception check.
Oh no, I hope this is okay. What's my perception? Oh no, I rolled a 14.
That's still fine. It's above
Okay.
average.
Okay.
As you guys, or as you just kind of listen in, you don't hear anything.
Can I use divine sense as well?
Of course. As you focus in expending one of your uses of divine sense, you again don't sense anything.
Okay, in that case,
Not
I'm
a
gonna go
single
ahead and...
ping off Zex.
Well, I've just kind of
Obviously,
gone.
off
There's
Zex.
obviously a slight ping off of Zex, but I've just kind of moved forward with that.
I'm gonna go down then.
All right. As you begin to move down, moving towards Rem and Zex. Rem and Zex, as you two head up the ladder, the slightly slick metal bars, just kind of the slight sounds as you guys are climbing upwards, and you are on about 2 stories up on the quote-unquote roof of the temple. As you turn and you see the steeple that rises another 2-3 floors, you see a door.
I'm gonna let Gil know
In
that
we
there's a door.
go. No, I'm going.
I'm letting him know that we're going.
Well, I'm just going.
Okay.
All right. Zex, as you grasp onto the door, it's locked.
Well, I'm going to use the thieves' tools that I still have.
Okay.
I forgot what I'm supposed to roll for these.
You roll. Are you proficient with them?
Yes,
So
because I have the criminal background.
you are going to add your proficiency to it then, and your dexterity bonus.
$22.
22. You hear a satisfying click, and you can assume that it's unlocked.
In we go.
All right. As you open it up, you see a small, the general pieces of it are that you can, you see a large desk and several emptied shelves, and it seems like someone had lived here. However, it's empty, and all of the shelves that you see are actually barren.
Is there no way up?
You do see over in a corner there is a ladder upwards.
Let's go. Can I... No teleportation circle, though?
Not that you see.
Let's investigate this room real quick.
Okay.
All right.
Should have waited for Ram.
Investigate the room.
I'm here.
You're here? Can I have guidance?
Yeah, I guess. We got time. I'm just... Fuck it. No, I want to look myself. I don't trust him.
Okay, fine. I see how it is.
I know where my feet are.
15.
15.
13.
As far as you see, there's no teleportation circle, nothing else outstanding about the room.
Let's go up this ladder.
All right. As you guys head up the ladder, and there's just this general creaking sound as you guys are going, and it's quite dark.
Good thing we have dark vision then, right?
Yep. But you see an opening, and you see some light coming from above. As both of you basically make your way upwards, you can hear the slight sound of wind. And as you just kind of follow it there and emerge, give me half a second to once again pull up a visual reference.
He's got a battle map. It's Banshees.
And what you see as you both climb up and slightly spread out into the room, is a small area with 2 windows on each side, and then a scrabbled inscription on the floor.
Not my teleportation circle.
Zex, as you have been looking into and have started to train in the knowledge of teleportation circles, this is a teleportation circle.
Let's go.
Can I
And just
try
be
to
clear.
write this down in my book too?
Zex is the only one with technical training in it, but
So guess what? I'll just make an extra copy and give it
so
to him.
I can say that Zex can either help you or he can just make an extra one.
Just make an extra one.
All right. Just to be clear, this isn't either of the locations that I already have.
Does not match either of the locations.
I'm telling you, man, one's probably a fucking hell.
Doesn't work that way, but okay.
There's no telling. Teleportation's fucked.
Well, now that we have this one, we can test it and then just come right back.
I'm good.
I'm going to do it at some point before we leave.
Wherever you go, you're gonna be there for a full 8 hours.
Is that how this works? Let me
You
check.
only have one spell to teleport.
You're right. You are correct. Okay. Well, I have it written down.
All right. As you take this time to inscribe in it, is there anything else you guys want to do in here?
I have my copy of the teleportation circle.
Yeah.
There's nothing else you want to do?
Does this teleportation circle
Well,
work?
you're waiting. I'm going to feel around these walls again. Time to do some feelies.
Make an investigation check.
I get guidance this time. I'm going to ask
Guys.
every single time.
Well, it's not every single time. Sometimes you gotta go by your own merit. Does this teleportation circle work?
Make an Arcana check.
I got a
30, 20?
17.
17 on investigation, 20 on Arcana.
Yep.
As Zex, as you start moving around, you can see one of the windows is cracked and there's a slight breeze coming through it. This in itself, you find small pieces of chalk and coal that may have been used by other people to write in teleportation circles. Nothing else.
Well, I'll take... How many pieces of chalk are there?
So, teleportation circle consumes this, actually. This is legitimate material to do it. This is actually 150 gold pieces worth, so it's enough for 3 different teleportation circles.
I'm just gonna write. Can I measure that in like sticks of chalk so I can say like I have 3 sticks of chalk?
Sure.
Would that be reasonable?
Yeah, I'll let you do that. All right, and Rem, as you're kind of tracing your fingers over the actual, like, hardened, inscribed symbol, not made with chalks, but carved into the stone and seemingly poured over with a lot of labor, you do not see any cracks in the rune. You do not see any imperfections in the pattern. There's no reason for you to assume that it's not a complete teleportation circle.
All right. Let's go back down.
So I guess we'll find out, like, for certain if we ever try to use it. Yeah.
All right.
All right, let's head out.
As you two head out, I'm going to switch over to Flora. Flora, you're heading down.
I am heading down.
All right. Gilgamesh, are you as you watch as the other two disappear upwards and Flora begins to descend, are you just staying where you are?
Yeah, I'm just at the bottom of the ladder. I'm just vibing.
Okay.
Flora is actually going to yell up and ask Gil if he wanted to come with her.
Where is Flora going?
Still exploring.
Gale will reluctantly nod his head and go with Flora.
All right. As you guys make your way into the darkened basement of this temple, you can feel the ground. It's kind of a pressing in presence as it just kind of squeaks as you guys go down, and what you find is it looks like this is some sort of storage chamber. As you're looking, you see different supplies. You see different like incenses and different like religious candles and different supplies that would normally take place either during prayer, sermons, or just burning during actual, like, time the church is open and seeking and allowing people to come in.
There's nothing down here that is of interest, correct?
That you can see? Not really.
Okay. In that case, Flora's gonna turn to Gil and say, looks like there's nothing actually down here. We can go ahead and head back up if you'd like.
Gil, without another word, is just gonna turn and leave.
All right. As you all kind of reconverge where the like at the entrance to the temple, you all come back and see each other, and what would you guys like to do?
Found what we came for. Let's go back to the camp.
I agree. This will be good for them too, because if they need any more troops, now they have it. I can give them the inscription as well.
I wonder if the people that ran this church before are going to be mad that we're using the teleportation circle, though.
I don't give two shits if they're mad about it.
Does Flora hear this?
Yeah.
Flora will turn to them and say, they won't be angry as I'm a part of the church, so you will not have to worry about any sort of confrontation as long as I am with you.
Did you find anything while we went up?
Nothing of interest. Supplies.
What kind of supplies?
Religious, ceremonial supplies, candles, tinderbox, I'm sure.
Okay.
All right. So where are you guys going?
Back to the camp.
You go back to Foremenos, the Foremenos guard camp.
Mm-hmm.
All right. As you guys make your way back, you can see the general camps itself as it Lithril, the elven man that has been guiding you towards these places, just kind of acknowledges and I'm happy that you found what you were looking for, but I really must be off. Apologies. And begins to make his way off towards another tent as you guys are now back in the Foremenos camp.
Guess we'll tell the captain.
Yep, that's where I was going to head as well. And I'm not going to knock.
All right, so you guys head over to the tent.
Yep.
Yes.
All right.
I'm going to yell from the outside. We're entering.
Gil is still not opting to enter as well.
Okay. As Rem calls out and Zex immediately pushes inwards, you can see May about like breathing in to say something, and oh god damn it. Hello, Zex.
Hello.
And as the other two of you, not Gilgamesh, come into the tent as well, she nods at you, and Goran looks. So, any luck?
Yes.
Really?
We found one. Yes.
Intact? All put together?
It appeared to be yes. We can test it if you would like.
That's great news. Where did you find it?
It's in an upper level of the Church of Bahamut.
Right, and you can see him make a quick note. He just kind of nods and... Well, thank you for looking for it. Hopefully this will get put to good use. You see a small smile kind of break out again.
And I'm going to make another extra copy of it real quick and give it to him.
All right, as you scroll and copy and give it to him, he just kind of looks at it and sets it aside on his desk and nods. Thank you. And you see May just kind of look over, side-eye him, and look over at you. Thank you.
Oh dear, I found some things. I forgot. We went to a few different places. I have some things for you. I have a thesis on agriculture in Foremenos. Maybe this will help with the growth of herbs and food and things like that. I'm going to give that to him.
Thank you. He sets it down on his desk as well.
I've got the Art of Defense book and the Brutality of Gunpowder.
We already know quite a lot about the brutality of gunpowder. Foremenos itself prides itself on the defensive, its defense specifically, but the men themselves have not a lot of training besides being reactive, which is actually one of our main problems.
You think these will help then?
They might. Can't hurt, to be fair.
I don't have those anymore. And I found something of a very interesting note. You said the North was mostly uncharted, but I found this. And I'm going to give him the book with the map of north of Foremenos.
I'm the map man.
Just kind of opens it, and this is the first time for Flora and Zex to kind of see, as you can see the dim light of the lanterns within the tent just kind of illuminated a little bit, and you can see it's very pressed in. You can see the wall, and then as it goes, it marks 3 specific caves, entrances, ruins. It's very amateurish in how it actually marks them, but it gives specific like details such as miles and locations, and it has little names written for them. Whether they're legitimate names or something that the author came up with, you're not sure. But as the captain just begins to nod, it's just like, this is brilliant. Where did you...
The courtroom, I assume?
Courthouse, in what I assume is the interrogation room. I found it on the floor.
Huh. Curious. I'm speechless.
If you've got the time, you can copy this out, and then I guess Zex can sit here and kind of work with his map, and then I'll take the book back, and we can kind of see. But with this, we have an idea of where we're going. This is the offensive part.
Oh, I'm a little excited. Don't get me wrong. This is definitely a start. And as you see, he puts it over, and you see he pushes the books aside, like not off the desk, but just to the side of the desk, and starts to unfurl just this blank chart. And it's kind of a thing as you watch. He begins to trace out things, and it seems like he's beginning to make copies.
Any of this ring any bells to you? Any of the names? What are the names on the map? Can we see the map?
Well, Zex, are you writing? I assume Zex is gonna pull out his map and be like,
and start adding. Yeah.
Map theme.
Give me half a second as you begin detailing this out. Oh, that's not good. You can see 3 markers on the map. Way to the north. One is labeled, as I will pull you over, as you mark it down on your map, Zex. One is marked the Dungeon of Entanglement.
Oh, yeah.
One is marked Devil's Paradise. And the third and final one is marked as the Soul Dungeon.
This is going to be fun.
As the captain begins looking over, he's just murmuring and looking. You saw Rem. There are like small notes made about some of the dungeons, and as he's seemingly picking and choosing which notes seem to be worth taking, which notes don't seem worth taking, he's just kind of moving along, making note and choosing which ones are what is worth to put down, and then what seems to be just nonsense of an amateur author.
This could be your way into the offensive. And now that you know the teleportation circle still works, it means you can get more troops if they decide to send any. So the trek to the north and the Grey Wall can be cut down with just a few, but there are only a few magic casters.
Well, the magic caster comes from the one sending them through, so we'd only need a magic caster on the place sending the reinforcements. We wouldn't just technically be able to send anyone back.
How many people can go through a teleportation circle if there's 2 like solid ones? I wouldn't know anything about it.
Yeah.
All it says is that it's open until the end of your next turn, so it's 6 seconds.
It's how many people you can basically push through a portal in 6 seconds.
How big is the portal?
It is 10
10
feet in diameter. So about 3 to 4 people can go through at a single time.
I mean, if you lined them all up, you could theoretically get maybe 10 people through in 6 seconds.
I mean, just the fact of getting people here so fast is... It's
I'm curious
very
as to why you
appealing.
guys never went to look.
That's true.
Ever.
Oh, I'll take responsibility and blame for that. But the town was not always abandoned. In the entire time I've been here, it's only been abandoned for... We've been having this problem for maybe 5 years now, but it's still 5 years of neglect on my part.
Alright, well, I assume it's getting pretty late.
It is.
Time to go to bed, and then maybe tomorrow we can check out one of these dungeons.
If you ask me, I think they're hiding in probably Devil's Paradise.
That's what I think too, but I don't think we should go there just yet.
All right. So you guys are heading out of the tent?
Yes.
Yeah?
And I have
taking my
something
book
to do
back.
before I go to sleep.
All right. So as you
I want to
all
look over all the notes.
head out over the tent, Gilgamesh, you see your friends just exit the tent. Zex, you said you were doing something?
We're not as friends.
Yeah, I'm gonna, before I go to sleep at least, I want to put a dimension door into my spell storing ring.
All right.
Put some spells in my ring too. And I'm taking my thieves' tools back.
Yeah. But I don't remember if I started with any even, and I forgot to look at it, so I just don't have any thieves'
Yeah,
tools.
no one
There you
starts
go.
with thieves'
You can
tools,
have
I'm
them
pretty sure.
back. Yeah.
I'm
All
gonna
right.
go to Finhelm and talk to him before I go to bed too.
All right.
While he does that, I'm gonna go back to the same spot and put up a tiny hut.
All right. Gil, Flora, is there anything you guys would like to do before going to bed?
Nope.
All right.
No, just sleep.
All right. So, Gil and Flora head back towards the tent. Zex heads over and begins casting his hut. Rem, you head over to Findhome. As you see, he's still tied up, and you see that for the night, he has like a blanket and a tarp that has been like pulled over him. Like they're not freezing him, but they don't want him in any of the tents. As you approach, the elven woman whose task it seems now to guard him just kind of looks at you and gives you a slight nod.
I'm gonna use stone shape to make the Rem dome. You know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Right here. We're making the Rem dome.
As you just kind of start pushing down into the ground. As you just see a slight bit of confusion come over the elven woman's face and the guard behind you. As you
We're gonna
begin
put him here.
pushing into the ground.
You can sleep in here for now, since it seems like no one wants him in the tents.
Fine. And you see her just kind of pull him up, and he's placed into the REM dome.
And I want to ask him about that dagger he has, and ask him what's the deal with this.
It was a magical item that I kept for myself during my days I was in debt. You and he just kind of gestures towards there's a button on the bottom of the hilt, and when someone who's in line with it presses it, it expels venom.
Venom?
Yeah.
Is that what you used on the captain?
Yeah.
I like this thing a lot. I'm gonna have to hold on to it for now.
Just kind of nods and, of course.
For now. It seems that we're thinking of heading north to deal with the enemy thing. So, if you're still down for that, that's what we'll be doing. If not, though, I don't know. Maybe it's almost time for us to cut you loose. I don't know where you'll go. And I can't say things will be different I can't say things will be the same if we cross paths again. But you lived. Good job.
Thank you. Just kind of just pulls the tarp and blanket closer around him as he starts to settle in.
Remdo. Alright. That's all I really have to do.
All right.
I want to read the books I found. I want to specifically read the notes put in this map book about the dungeons.
Okay. As I assume you go back to the tent.
Mm-hmm.
As you guys all kind of settle down, you see just April, who seems to have been exhausted, who's been asleep by the time all of you have gotten in, and Rem, as you settled down and began reading the notes. The notebook actually reads, which one are you looking at first? The notes of which dungeon? Or which ruin, tomb, dungeon, different names.
There's the Soul Dungeon, right?
Soul Dungeon, Devil's Paradise, and Dungeon of Entanglement.
Let's look at Devil's Paradise.
Alright. Devil's Paradise. The Devil's Paradise has a note on it, and it was Devil's Paradise is actually at the last part. The dungeons, when they were inscribed in the notes that were on it, you can glean the order that they found these dungeons were the Soul Dungeon, Dungeon of Entanglement, and then Devil's Paradise.
I'll look at them in order then.
Okay. Soul Dungeon. There's not a lot about it. It says the entrance was buried, and it says this name is the most fitting name one could have. The third and final note about the Soul Dungeon is only the quick-footed should venture further in than I. For the Dungeon of Entanglement, it remarks about there's way too many plants for one tomb in here. Someone must be growing them. And whoever grew these plants gave them one hell of a diet. bring fire if to come back here. And those are the 3 notes on the Dungeon of Entanglement. The Devil's Paradise, the final one, it does mention how it's like slitted between a small mountain or more of a hill kind of thing, and it's slitted between that, and then it opens up, and he describes there seems to be a hole to hell within this mountain. And then there's a note afterwards of had to leave the dungeon early. Something else was trying to explore it. And
The Devil's Paradise is in a mountain, it says?
it seems to be like a sheer, so it describes it as like it looks like it's like shallow, but light drew him to it. There always seemed to be like a light towards it, and so he thought someone was camped there. But it's just this sheer, it looks like a mountain from far away and during the daytime, but there's a crevice in the mountain that he walked into. And then he described it seemed like there was a hole to hell within that.
Anyone doing anything?
Is anyone else doing
Are
anything?
any of these notes signed at all?
No, the notes are not signed. And as you're looking throughout the book, you do not find a signature.
Is anything else in this book of notice?
No, not really. There seems to be like blank pages in the back of it, like they intended to write more, but never got the chance to.
Well, Rem, you ready for a fun learning session?
I'm tired, so not really, but fuck it. Let's go.
All right. Performance and intelligence. You guys know who's doing what.
You're not learning shit today.
Well, I rolled a nat 20, so
I rolled a
whatever you're
nat
teaching me.
Oh.
No!
You are somehow invigorated for this night session as you were looking forward to it, as you hadn't had the chance to do it these last couple nights. Rem's like, okay. And as you're all kind of laying out, getting stuff ready, you look over and Rem is dead asleep.
Windows closing sound.
I'm gonna shake your ass awake. Get up.
As much as you're trying, they're dead to the world, it seems.
Do I have anything to poke him with?
I mean, a sword.
I have a dagger.
Yeah. But no matter how you poke and pry, it seems like they're not getting up.
Fine. As punishment, I'm gonna grow 3 flowers on him.
Okay. Where are you growing the flowers?
I don't know. One on his head, one on like his torso area, and then one on his legs.
All right. And with that, you all go to bed. As the morning comes
Also, I want to put one on Gil's back real quick. Sorry.
all right.
Last minute thing.
Since Gil is not passed out dead because of a nat 1, you will roll a sleight of hand check. Gil, you can roll a perception check.
You're fucked. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I got it, but we'll see. I got a 27.
Oh no, yeah, you definitely got it.
What'd you get, Gil?
I got an 18.
Oh, that's pretty good. But
Well, I rolled an 18,
yeah.
but then I get to add 9 to it.
Yeah, no, like there is no physical way for me to roll that high.
Yeah.
As is.
So, Gil, you are peacefully asleep. And where are you putting it on Gil?
Just, I guess, same place as always. Like
Small
on
of
his
his
shoulder,
back?
I guess.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Is the first one still there?
As he looks to put it there, no, it is wilted and fallen off.
Okay, good. My big ass crushed it.
So that's 3, 4. So
Yep.
you've used
So
you've used
I've
half of the charges, or yeah, you've used 4 out of 6 or 4 out of 10 charges.
Yep,
I was
and
just
then I'll
making
roll
sure.
in the morning to see how many I get back.
You're literally, you get +4 expended charges, so you're gonna get all of them back. It doesn't matter.
Oh yeah, you're right.
As you kind of move and set it away, you all go to bed. You all get your long rest, so you all get any spells you used, if you used any back. And
Should I wake up first?
you can if you wanted to wake up a little bit early.
Oh yeah, I want to wake up first since I went to bed first.
Okay.
I want to sleight of hand this staff of flowers away from him.
It's in my bag of holding. You can't.
I can take the bag of holding off of you.
And you don't even know the flowers are there yet.
Well, as
I
you
do,
wake
'cause
up,
I woke up. It's on my stomach.
as you wake up, yeah, one of them you said on his leg as well.
Yeah.
As you wake up, Rem, you do see a daffodil just peeking out from in between the kinks in your arm or on your legs and on your stomach, and then you just kind of reach up slowly, and there's one on your head.
I'm gonna sleight of hand his bag of holding away from him and take the staff.
Sleight
And
of
I'm using guidance to do it.
sleight of hand, Zex, roll perception.
All right. Let's see how this goes. I got 19.
Oh, he wakes up. I got a 14.
Zex, you're peacefully and calmly sleeping. You wake up to a tugging sensation.
It's me just like trying to body slam you and take it away.
And you see Rem, who has the bag, your bag of holding, just kind of pulled away from your body and is reaching into it.
I'm gonna yank it away from him before he can get anything out.
He's just,
All right, now we're in a thing. We're in a struggle, a strength-based struggle.
all right, both of you. I need you to make athletics checks to see who keeps hold of the bag.
Can't do acrobatics.
No.
Don't have the choice.
No choice.
You got it.
I got it.
You
Maybe
got
not.
it.
Maybe not.
No, you got
Let's
it.
see. I got a 9.
I got a 6.
All right, Zex.
Yeah.
If anyone was awake to see it, this is the worst tug of war ever. But Zex, you pull the bag back.
Oh,
I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just gonna say you should have taught me Gnomish last night.
next
That
time I'm
you're
just gonna stab
Dumbass
you.
fell asleep.
I actually am just going to stab him. I've decided. I'll leave her alone. I'm telling him though. Next time I'll just stab you.
Maybe don't fall asleep early then.
Maybe learn it by yourself.
I can't. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
It's physically impossible for me to do so.
I'm sorry. I'm so tired from carrying this entire fucking party.
Fuck you. You carry the health. I carry the damage. Asshat.
Okay, and
I've
you
said
act
that
like
to
we
you.
can't get a fucking particularly charming goose to replace you.
I can replace you soon. Very soon.
You can? How so?
I have healing spells right now.
Okay. I have damage spells too. You want to see one?
Do you want to see one?
Sure. Let's go outside.
Fuck, we're doing this shit again.
We're gonna launch off one spell each. We're gonna launch off a cantrip, and we're gonna see how it goes. Okay.
As this
A
is
cantrip?
happening, as
No,
they're
fuck
having a shouting match between Gilgamesh, Flora,
it's
and
a gentle
April,
shouting match.
they still wake up.
Yeah,
They're
of
not
course, but it's
deaf.
genteel.
As you go up, you can see this kind of back and forth between Rem and Zex.
What time is it currently?
It's
Yeah.
it's about 7 a.m.
Laura's gonna sit up and rub her eyes just a little bit and just go, "Hey! Quiet down over there!"
I'm gonna wait. How close?
We're having man talk.
Where am I
Go to
sitting
sleep.
in relation to Flora?
You're between Flora and Zex right now.
I wanna like wave my hand in like a downward motion and be like, Flora, Flora, let them have their fun. I'm enjoying this.
Laura's gonna snap over to Gilgamesh and glare at him and say, "Of course you are. That's why you're not bothered."
All right, come on. I'll even let you go first. Launch your cantrip.
Not using a cantrip.
And then
We're using
quietly-
cantrips. We're gonna test our cantrips because it's the most appropriate thing to do inside.
Oi,
Inside?
Let's take it out the tent.
I
Make
think
it a
we
bit more
should.
interesting.
We're gonna get one spell each,
All right, all out here. Come with me.
and we gotta use cantrips because we got shit to do today, so we can't waste spell slots
Fine.
on this
Reasonable.
bullshit.
Who do you think's gonna win, Gil? Flora's gonna whisper over to him.
It's a
I
I already
friendly
know who's gonna win.
competition.
It's not gonna be me. So
Do I
It's a-
remember who won last time?
Yeah, you
Of
do.
course
You're not.
you
You're
do.
not.
of course you do.
Gil has a bad memory. He doesn't
remember.
have that bad of a memory.
Yeah, who won last time?
It
Rem,
was.
do you seriously
Rem.
not remember?
I think it was Rem, wasn't it?
Rem won.
Yes.
Okay,
Was
that's
the-
what I thought. I'm
One
gonna, like,
cantrip.
slowly start to get up to like follow them out. And as I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna say, last time it was Rem, I'd bet on it again. Then I'm gonna stand in the doorway of the tent to watch the fun.
We're not gonna fight to the death. We're just gonna do one cantrip each.
You can go first, since I
No,
know
you-
you probably won't kill me.
You go ahead. One cantrip. What do you
Alright.
have?
Give me a con save.
That's a motherfucking 22.
Then you don't take any damage.
Give me a con save.
I mean, I got a 16, so
That's
We'll
a
see.
failure.
what's your DC?
17, baby. But since you're uninjured, it's not gonna hurt too bad.
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt that bad. It's only 12 it's only 12 damage.
Yeah, not that bad. Okay.
As
I
you
remain
watch,
victorious.
as you watch Gilgamesh and Flora, you watch. Zex, what were you casting?
Thunderclap.
Yeah, as you watch, Zex brings his hands together and you hear a boom as Rem just kind of blinks unfazed, and then you hear
Runs
this sort
it
of
off.
sound, and you see small greenish bells next to Zex's ears, and then a slow little drip of blood from Zex's ears, and then him conceding defeat.
Just this once.
It's-
Seeing them.
Then I'm
stop-
gonna rub my chest. I'm gonna use the cure wounds that's in my ring, so I'm not wasting any spell slots.
You might be able to heal all the damage too.
That's what I'm thinking. Hopefully I will.
Seeing that they stopped basically doing anything, I'm just gonna kind of stand there in disappointment and say,
I think I rolled exactly 12. I rolled a
Come on,
7 and it's plus my charisma, so
That's exactly 12. Yeah.
let's
So nothing
go.
nothing happened today.
I lost my cure wounds that's in my ring though.
Yeah, that's why I'm here. Keep your eye on your own endeavor. And
Whatever.
and you would replace me soon, but you don't want to do that because you want You want
I
wizard
want the big
spells
damage
or
spells. I want the-
sorcerer spells.
You know what I want? I already have a spell picked out, but I can't
Let
tell you
me
what it
handle
is.
what I do, and you handle what you do, and we'll live our own lives respectively.
I think we're both reasonably important to this party.
Reasonably important indeed.
All right, Gil, what were you doing?
But don't try and take my shit again.
I'm gonna body slam him and try to take it.
Oh, really?
No, I'm half this man's height.
Okay. All right. With Gil, you being disappointed, as I did hear you. I do see you.
And if he was asleep, wouldn't he have made that perception check with disadvantage?
I've just been having Gil roll straight perception checks, so I just had Zex do it like that.
It was fun. Friendly
So,
conflict.
with you all awake, April stating that they're gonna help May out a little bit more today. What are you guys doing?
Gil still has a flower on his back from last night, I assume.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna discreetly point it out to Rem.
I'm not gonna say anything.
Do I see any motions or gestures or looks made towards me?
Make it.
Should I make another sleight of hand?
What
he's
if he
looking-
says flower and gnomish?
Make a perception check.
He probably doesn't know that yet because you didn't teach him last
You're
night.
teaching him basics. Flower is not like one of the common things. It's like hello, goodbye, where's the bathroom? Those are the things you're teaching him.
Call them swear words.
Yeah, of course you
see.
teach
Yeah,
swear
that's
words.
right. I remember that.
Gil, what'd you
I
roll?
see everything. I got a 22.
Oh.
Do I not get to roll sleight of hand against it?
Since it is player versus player, roll for your sleight of hand.
I see
You're fucked.
everything.
You're fucked.
I rolled a nat 20. Let's go!
You're fucked.
Oh, Gil. Why does the world not want you to?
I'd like to roll to hit on Zex, please.
No!
Why?
Kill this man.
Why?
No! No!
Giving me nasty looks. He's looking at me weird.
Oh shit!
That's exactly how that would go down.
Yeah, it is
too.
exactly how it would go.
Yeah. All right, that's
All right.
what we're doing today, I guess.
All right. So, what are you guys doing today?
I don't know, man.
I want to go. I want to go
How
look
far
at this
away is the nearest dungeon?
soul dungeon. Let's go to the soul dungeon. That's what my vote is for.
How far away is it first?
You can see that it is a bit of a trek, as it looks to be like maybe 2 miles.
Out of character, if we
That's-
left, would we have to stop the session before we got there?
You'd probably stop the session when I'd probably stop it when you guys actually got to the entrance.
Let's tell the captain that we are going to head towards the soul dungeon, and then ask Finhelm, if he knows anything. Let's check in with the captain for the day.
All right. So you guys head over to the captain's tent.
Yeah, ask them if they notice anything during the night. Is the enemy moving
All right, and I actually
I don't want
move her, but
to attack and we're not here?
I'll knock this time.
all right, as you thump, 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 along the tent, you just hear, "Come in," and as you open, you see Goran. It's seemingly you see a small set of papers, maybe about 5, that it seems like he's been tracing maps over the night. And he just kind of looks up and he flexes his hand as he sets down his quill. And, "May I help you?"
We're thinking of heading north to the soul dungeon,
Really?
but we don't want an attack to happen while we're not here.
Well, I have a feeling you'd see the attack before we would. To be completely
So,
fair.
It depends on where they're coming from. How far away do they usually see the light where they think the enemies are coming from? Could we reasonably justify that we think it's coming from Devil's Paradise?
It's reasonable. It's
I
reasonable to
read through
assume.
read through the notes. It says that the soul dungeon's particularly dangerous. So we are gonna check it out, though. We'll go out and venture forth, see what's up.
And just for my own thing, you're heading to which of the three you said? Not
The closest one, so the soul dungeon.
all right. Well, good luck. I'm impressed by how far you all are willing to go for this.
I won't say it's completely selfless. We do intend to keep anything we find inside of it.
Oh, and you'll hear no complaints from me.
And we're kind of at an impasse. We're undecided if we should leave Foremenos to its own devices or if we should help.
Look,
So we're
I
not
know where I
entirely
want to
sure.
go after we leave Foremenos.
I know
But-
where I want to go to.
Are we thinking of the same place?
No, we are not.
That's too bad.
But if we go back to one place, we can come back to Foremenos and then go back here because we know the circle works.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. So we're gonna head there today, I guess. We might take Finhelm. We might not. Undetermined.
All right. Well,
Well,
they know to hand him over to you if you ask, so you won't have a problem with her.
have you heard anything back from anybody else? In the meantime?
Nothing. No.
You should send some sort of message with a inscription of the teleportation circle to wherever you're receiving troops from. So if they have access to a mage of some kind, they can send troops over.
I'll see if Gondolin has one. Gondolin's been the only one that has given us any sort of assistance recently, so they'll be the first to know, and I know that they might make use of it.
Alright.
All right. Are we heading towards the soul dungeon?
Oh, dungeon. Yes.
Can my carriage handle that terrain?
You're not entirely sure. It is definitely rougher terrain. There are no roads out there. And the snow seems like it can be pretty deep. You can try. You might get stuck.
We need coats.
Do you have
Been-
any long boards? Like just planks that are very long?
We can dismantle part of the stage. We're not going to be needing it anytime soon, and I say you've more than earned the lumber. What is
It's
it
the
for?
horses I'm worried about.
I know you're worried about the horses.
We could outfit our carriage to go across the snow with the boards, like shoes of sorts, but it's the horses I'm worried about.
Hmm.
And I
Mhm.
don't want us to get stuck. We're gonna need furs. I think we're gonna be going on foot for this one. Do you have any spare furs? Like coats?
I can see what I can do. Coats and other clothing we're not short on. It's medical mostly, but I'll see what I can do. Give me a little bit and I'll round up what I can. Just one
That's
for
why
each of you? For a coat, hopefully.
Not for the dragon.
Not
He
for
doesn't
the...
need it.
All right.
I'm just gonna give him kind of a reassuring nod that I really don't need one.
All right. I'll see what I can do. That'll actually make it a bit easier. He is quite large compared to the rest of you.
Nah, I'm gonna kill this dude now. He insulted me. Called me big.
Make a wisdom saving throw. Did the thesis on agriculture have anything about growing medical herbs?
I haven't looked through it yet. I was a little busy on the map, preoccupied. But I will get around to looking at it as soon as possible.
Lots to be done, such little time. But, if it details something that could be of use, that's why I picked it up.
And I appreciate it.
All right, then. Okay. I guess we're going to wait for him to get his coats. I'm going to go check in with Finhelm, see what he's doing, and then,
All right.
Ready to make our way?
It takes maybe half an hour, but eventually all of you are able to procure coats. Zex, I believe you actually have one.
He has a
Already.
bunch
No,
of
you have a
used
bunch of
furs.
uncured furs, but he's able to get you an actual like fur coat to use.
So, did I get those pelts back from Rem after he used them as like a bed?
We can say you put them in the cart afterwards.
Yeah.
Taking my thieves' tools back.
I already gave them to you. You asked for them last night.
I don't remember much of last night.
Rem, Flora, Zex, you all receive fur coats.
Okay. Are we going to leave April here while we go to this dungeon?
I think we
We're
will.
going to tell her where we're going, and then we're going to go talk to Finhelm.
All right.
Or I will.
Tell her to keep an eye on Fintown.
We're going to bring him with us.
No, why would we do that?
Why not?
Because I don't trust him?
What's he going to do? Stab us?
Yes.
With what?
Who knows?
His hands?
He could have something. Yeah, he'll use his
Then life
hands.
will be ended
Go full
in
reverse flash on us.
Reverse flash.
I mean, we're not killing him. We can't keep him prisoner forever.
But we also don't have to take him into a dungeon where we don't know what to expect.
Well, let's see if he knows anything about it.
Fine. If he knows something, he can come. If he doesn't, he stays. That's the compromise I'm willing to make. That reasonable?
We'll see what happens.
All right.
All right. So, as you two head over out of the flap of the captain's tent, and you head over to Finthelm, you see the little mound, Zex, that you can assume Rem created for him. As he's just kind of balled up in there, you can see the exceptionally pale eyes just kind of peeking out from underneath. Good morning.
Hey, Finhelm, do you know anything about something called the Soul Dungeon?
You see the eyes kind of like purse together a little bit. It tickles the back of my mind, but not really. I wouldn't have anything of use to give to you. Sorry.
Insight check.
Sure.
I'll do it too. Oh, I believe everything he says.
I got a 12.
I also got a 12.
As you guys are looking, you just he looks like he's honestly trying to help, and like racking his brain. You can see he's just kind of deep into thought about it, and it looks like he wants to help, but he just doesn't have anything.
Flora also do an insight check.
Sure.
Well, he might be saying something. I rolled a 14.
You're getting the same thing of like he's trying to help, but he doesn't know.
Would you know anything about this book? I'm gonna like show him the book. Show him a little bit of the inside of it.
No. Sorry.
Guess I believe him.
I was never really one of my usual wasn't really delving through dungeons and ruins. It was like stealing from auction houses and stuff like that.
You want to go into a dungeon?
I mean, I've only been in one, and I don't know, you can grade me of how I did.
You have a weird mixture of capabilities. You have the archetypes of one that sneaks to the dark, yet you have the firepower of a magic user. What is it exactly that you are?
I'm practiced in the ways of the blade, and I showed a natural affinity for arcane. Still figuring it out, but I've gotten a hold on what I know. I'm a little bit better at the blade than the arcane, to be honest.
How'd you cast those fireballs then?
I'm not good. He like starts to hold up his hand and it like catches on his back and he remembers that he's in shackles and he just kind of slowly he's like, I mean, I point and I think about it and it goes and it happens.
He's talking real slow. I need an insight check for this.
Okay.
Big sauce. I'm gonna do it too.
He actually
I
rolled
rolled-
really low.
I rolled really low again.
Fuck is that? That's 23.
23.
I rolled a 7.
Zach's just like, what? And Rem, you're kind of figuring out, he's someone who has arcane, as what he's describing, it's someone who has arcane power flowing through them. They aren't necessarily studied. It's finding abilities or gleaning abilities off of other people, and then their body has the necessary arcane type to use it.
I understand the concept of innate spellcasting. Yeah. All right. You want to go to a dungeon? It's your choice. You stay here with these guys, or you can go to a
No,
dungeon.
that wasn't the deal.
Did we shake on the deal?
We made an agreement, I assume.
I said we'll see what happens. And we're
Rem.
asking him. And the last
Rem.
time we went to a dungeon, he was a lot of help, wasn't he? Are you forgetting the
also-
2 times
he
we almost got
also
nuked down by
lied.
fireballs?
He also lied to us.
Think of it like this. He gains nothing by running away now that he's not going to get eventually.
Fine. He stays in cuffs until we get into the dungeon. And you can't dispute that
You
shit,
wanna
because
just let
I'm the
him
one
go?
with the keys.
He won't go with us, and we can just let him go.
No. But he stays
Let
in
him
shackles
prove
until
his
we get
worth.
there. Once we get there, he can prove himself, but before that, no.
You really know how to treat criminals, don't you, criminal?
As I'm not the one who slept in graveyards.
Your point?
I thought I made my point pretty clear, but
You didn't ask why I slept in graveyards.
you didn't ask why I was a criminal.
Doesn't change the fact that you're a criminal.
Okay,
We're gonna fight 2 more times before we get here.
probably.
All right. I guess we're going then.
All right, so you're taking Findhelm with you.
Yep. Does he have a coat?
Yes.
He has his cloak as he moves out, and as you guys are going, and you all kind of meet Flora, Zex, Rem, Gilgamesh, and Finthelm. You all go to the gate. You can see some of the half orcs next to the gate doing some drills. As you see the leather-clad person, just kind of leather-clad half orc that seemed to have been the leader, just kind of looks at you and nods and continues doing the drills. As you all head towards the gate.
Mm-hmm. Before we leave, I'm gonna tell Finhelm I have to do this as a precaution. I'm only gonna take a bit. Don't mind me. And I want to gently. I need a lock of hair. It's not too much, but I need it.
You hear the clink of the the shackles behind him.
His hands are behind his back? I thought they were in front.
The shackles, as they started, they were in front, and then they were redone behind him.
I'm just gonna take a little bit of hair. Don't mind me.
Guess I'm not in a position to argue.
I was gonna say you don't really have a choice in this matter.
You take this small wisp of white hair. I don't know how that hair helps you.
Don't worry about it.
All right. Are you guys just going outwards?
Yep.
All right. So
I'll reshackle his hands in front of him before we go, though, so that
So-
he can catch himself if he falls.
pop, and you just, for the quick instant before you reshackle him, you see him just rubbing his wrists, stretching his arms a little bit, and then he immediately puts his hands back together and doesn't put up a fight as you reshackle him. And as you all begin heading out northwards, you said you were heading towards the
Hostess dungeon.
specifically
Soul
you
Dungeon.
wanted to go towards the Soul Dungeon. All
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to make sure I'm walking behind Gil.
right. Okay.
we're
Flora, Gil,
walking-
is there anything you guys are doing? As you guys head out?
Actually,
No.
Nope. Okay.
in character here, I want to. Hey, Gil, you should walk in front since you're a big guy. That way, you can sort of help carve a path for the rest of us.
I'd rather
Since
stay
it's so
behind.
snowy.
I don't trust him. And I'd also like to be the one, seeing as nobody else is keen on the idea, to take his life if necessary.
You just want to take lives. You don't give a fuck. You don't care about honor. You don't care about atonement, restitutions. All you care about is blood and gore.
I'm not the one who chose to take this man with us. But I will take the precautions necessary, since someone did.
All right. Fair enough, I guess. And when, it is what it is.
All right.
I choose to have a little bit of faith.
As you guys begin just heading through the small, the snow eventually goes from this hard-packed area around the wall, and as you guys get further and further, it begins to soften, and with that, your feet break through, and first it's just your ankles, then it goes up to your thighs, and suddenly, Rem, you're basically chest height at this point.
Broom.
Get on my
and
back.
You hop on your broom and you up above the snow. Everyone else, you're getting to about waist height.
Great. I'm back behind Gil still, right?
What is the marching order on this, actually?
Well, Rem is in the air, so
It
Who do we
depends
have?
on who's escorting Findhelm.
you're escorting Findhelm, so maybe Flora, then Findhelm, then Gil, then Zex.
Yeah,
So,
that sounds right. At least I'm fine with that.
so let me do this for my own peace of mind, if you will. If I could get you guys on this small map that I'm about to drag you over to. The marching order on here, just so I can have a reference.
So it'd be Flora in front.
Then
Floors,
Findhelm, then Gil. And Rem is in the air.
just above the group.
Yeah.
All right. As you guys just begin making your way forward, just the steady clumps. Flora, since you're in front, and Rem, since you're in the air, I would like both of you to make perception checks.
Yes, sir. I rolled a nat 20.
All
Roll
right.
17.
As you guys kind of move forward, Flora, you are looking, and then with your keen eye, you can pick out what seems to be this almost kind of arch that is collapsed. And this is after you're about a mile out, so you can tell that it's about a mile away. It's very small, and it's basically a brown dot on a very white canvas. But you can see it, and you can pick out that it looks like it's a collapsed arch. Pointing this out, Rem, you're able to ascertain from it talking about how the entrance is buried. This must be the Soul Dungeon, as you all begin to trudge your way towards it.
We're here.
All right. As you all approach a bit more, the day itself, as it kind of just drags forward a bit, you're about to like approach like probably like 10:30 in the morning, and as you go, the sun itself starts to illuminate the snow, just kind of not blinding, but you're getting that little bit of squint in your eye as you are trudging along this path. Eventually, you come to the actual area, and you see itself is a large stone arch, maybe 20-25 feet tall at one point at the highest point, which has since seemed to collapse in on itself. And it seems to slightly angle downwards. As you can see, the snow itself has kind of gone upwards in a hill-like motion and back down, and the arch itself seemed to have been kind of leaned and then collapsed. And you all stand
So-
at the entranceway of this.
Front facing, there doesn't appear to be a way into this.
Well, the note,
right?
the note said that it's buried, right?
Mm-hmm. But they got into it, so how did they get into it?
Well, I'm sure it's snowed since then. That's probably what happens. If we just dig where it like dips down a little bit, that is probably the entrance.
I suppose so.
Pull out the shovel, start digging.
I guess we're all digging.
All right. So you guys begin to dig. I would like everyone who is digging, all four of you can dig, only one of you can dig. You all can make investigation checks.
I'm gonna suggest to. Did I ever see anybody take off Findhelm's shackles?
No
Haven't
one's
done
taken
that
off
yet.
Findhelm's shackles.
Well, no, like previously.
Yeah, they've come off before.
Yeah, you've
Would
seen
I
Zex
know
take it
who
off.
has? Okay, so, I'm gonna turn to Zex and ask, should we take these off, make him do a bit more labor?
I'll take the shackles off.
You guys, this is a companion now, not a slave.
All right, you.
Rolled a 15.
All right, 15 as you begin digging in.
21.
21. All right.
And a 9.
9. All right.
I'm gonna choose to monitor Findhelm, just to
Alright.
make sure he don't do no weird ass shit.
Fine.
Findhelm's kind of looking and he's like, he just kind of looks around. He's like, I don't have a shovel, but I can melt some of the snow. If you want me to. I don't want to be doing anything out of the sorts.
Does Gil have a shovel? Did we say that Gil had a shovel?
Yeah, Gil has
Yes.
a shot.
Yeah.
He does. Okay, I want to.
It was the one that Flora has with her. Flora did borrow your shovel.
I
Oh, yeah, huh?
With the 4 of you, you have 3 shovels.
damn.
And so as you guys are digging, Findhelm's just kind of looking at his hands like, it's your choice if you want me to melt it or not.
I'd rather
No,
say you say what magic you have.
Oh, it just kind of happens.
Give it a go.
Let's back up.
He just
So I'm gonna
waits.
back up to
Are you
where
guys backing
Findhelm
up?
is.
Yeah.
I am, yes.
Okay. As they're backing up, Flora, you've actually gotten quite far in, and you can feel your shovel just kind of hit something solid, and then as you kind of wiggle it around, it goes into another little crevice, and you seem to have actually made a little bit more headway than the rest.
Did you get my 21 on that investigation?
I did.
Okay.
Are you all backing up, though?
Yes.
Yeah, let him blast it open.
Mm-hmm.
All right. As he just kind of cracks his hands, shakes it off. He's still shackled, and I actually have to check something.
I unshackled him.
unshackled
Oh, you unshackled him? I'm sorry.
We started shoveling.
I immediately forgot that. He just kind of cracks his hand and flexes, and he waits for you guys to get out. You watch as he pushes his hand forward, and then you see a bolt of fire streak out and slam into the side. First, he hits around where Flora was digging, that little small crevice, and you see as it goes out, there's a pillar that is knocked over, and it's now become wet with the melted snow. As you see, there's a little like crevice that seemed like she was digging into. Next, he throws it at where Zex was digging, and immediately you can see it's just sheer rock wall. Lastly, he throws one where Rem was singing, and you see as it starts to melt, and as it's melting, some of it turns into ice, but you can see a small bit of like a small hole that leads into darkness, and it seems that there's something there, and so he throws one again. As it opens it up a little bit, you can see that where the arches had actually fallen, it had created a little bit of almost a dome, which had then been coated over with snow. And as he threw the second one, it opens it a little bit more. There's still digging or more fire that is needed, but it seems that there is now a place that you guys can focus on.
All right, let's go dig right there then.
All right. With that, it takes you guys a while. I take it you're opening it up big enough for everyone to fit through.
Mm-hmm.
As you just kind of start clearing and moving it away, Findhelm just kind of stands there awkwardly since he doesn't have a shovel, with Gilgamesh watching him. as you guys clear away this entrance and you can open up. It's about enough room for a medium-sized creature to slip through, so you guys can slip through one at a time.
Me first.
All right. And Zex, as you begin to push your way in, as you can feel the ice and snow just kind of moving along, and that freezing sensation you get as a little slit in the coat catches on ice, as you push through and go in to the Dungeon of Souls. That's where we're going to end the session for tonight. And we'll pick up with the Soul Dungeon next week.
Gosh!
Gonna do it. I'm gonna kill Findhelm. He's gonna die. He's gonna die one way or another.
You can't kill him.
Listen, if if
Not yet, at
if
least.
there are some enemies who have like long swords, and there's mysteriously like a great axe, wound in him. Don't come crying to me because it wasn't my fault. That's all I'm gonna say.
Fake.
How many wisdom saves do you think you can make before you die?
I was gonna say,
Less than one.
him and I can both blast you with stuff that focuses your wisdom.
I mean,
Don't you worry.
whether
don't
you
have-
trust
I don't
him or
have time
not,
for that.
you currently have a companion.
Yeah.
Not if I kill him.
Temporary April. Temporary April. Temporary April.
Are
Temporary
you
April.
still,
Suzanne,
are you still streaming?
Yeah, Suzanne, we do miss you. Sucks that you couldn't be here, but as you can tell, they feel like they have to replace
We're
you in
making our
order
way
to
downtown.
have a sense
Walking
of
fast.
having you here.
Faces past.
Of course, and
And we're soulbound.
first of all, Herminia, thank you for the subscription. Crableaf, thank you for the subscription. And Nostalgic Arrow, thank you for the bits. You guys are all amazing. Alpha, thank you for redeeming as many hydrates as you can during the stream without saying a word. I don't know why you did that,
Well,
but it's okay.
I still have 30,000 more points.
Stop it.
so
I've got
trust me, buddy.
46.1.
It could have been a lot worse.
Stop it.
Next
but
time you stream, we're just gonna drown.
Thank you everybody so much for watching. Also Nostalgic Arrow with the host. Thank you. But thank you everybody so much for watching. This has been an incredible adventure. We still have one more week without Suzanne with us, but we've got this nice little dungeon to explore, and I feel like that's going to take the brunt of it next session. So, next Thursday I will see you all, and we will have a wonderful time exploring the Soul Dungeon on the next episode of Papihos. My name is Jacob, and I was the Dungeon Master. Of course, I'm joined here by the wonderful people who are my players, who go through my bullshit. Helminia, James, Alpha, and Jazz. Thank you all so much for joining me here, and for you all, the viewers, for watching. And I will see you all in the next stream. Take care, guys.